Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvellous video. When it comes to childhood nostalgia, few things hold a candle to the magic of Saturday mornings in the 80s and early 90s. With the promise of a weekend without school, youngsters would rise with the sun, donning their beloved G.I. Joe or He-Man pajamas and Muppet Babies or Care Bear shirts. The taste of sugary cereal was never better without the unbridled excitement that came with sitting in front of the television for a marathon of cherished cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons were an integral part of countless households across the nation, etching incredible memories into the minds of a generation. Some of us even got positively influenced by what the shows had to offer.
Scooby-Doo, that's my pal. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
The people in their 30s, 40s and 50s, here's a shout out to you. You can still use several streaming platforms to relive the days of the past and walk down memory lane. And for the younger viewers, you may want to check out some of the cartoons we'd be mentioning in the list. While every viewer harbors their own cherished favorites, we thought it's only prudent to make a list of all the Saturday morning cartoons from that golden era. So, without further ado, let's get this joyride started. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, 1983 to 1986. G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, is a true gem of the 80s Saturday morning cartoon era that holds a special place in the hearts of many. While it didn't share the same audience as that of shows like the Care Bears or Jim Henson's Muppet Babies, it did have a strong and loyal fan following, and these guys and girls love the original show even today. What began as a clever marketing ploy for Hasbro's action figures evolved into a beloved animated series that transformed later shows and pop culture as a whole in more ways than one. At its core, this series was designed to promote the G.I. Joe comic book tie-in and the corresponding action figures. However, its overwhelming popularity quickly propelled it into its own standalone show. When reminiscing about quintessential 80s cartoons, this one often takes the top spot, and I can say with conviction that it laid the foundation for today's insatiable appetite for superhero narratives. What sets G.I. Joe apart is its grounded approach compared to some of its animated counterparts. Rather than focusing on individual superheroes, it thrives on teamwork and camaraderie. Characters like Hawk, Duke, and Flint work together seamlessly to combat the nefarious forces of Cobra and its henchmen. While they may have their ranks, the strength of the team lies in their collective efforts. The show's popularity was such that it even welcomed unlikely characters into its fold, including the wrestling sensation Sergeant Slaughter. This blend of military action and heroism captured the imagination of viewers and spawned a dedicated fan base. The basic plot revolves around the ongoing battle between the heroic G.I. Joe team and the villainous Cobra organization. I could go on and on about it, but I suppose that would be superfluous. ThunderCats, 1985 to 1989. ThunderCats, an animated masterpiece of the 80s, is one of the prime examples of how cool the sword and sorcery shows back then were. This series takes us on a thrilling journey with a group of humanoid cat-like creatures, a concept that seemed tailor-made to capture the imaginations of kids. From the striking logo to the awesome swords, crazy villains, and sorcery, ThunderCats had all the elements that made kids feel like they were witnessing the epitome of coolness. And let's not forget the iconic hangout, the Cat's Lair, a colossal structure that only added to the grandeur. Oh, and that catchy theme song? Yeah, I'm sure some of you still remember it. While some might draw parallels to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, ThunderCats stood on its own thanks to its inventive storytelling. It introduced us to memorable characters like the noble leader Lion-O and the Cheetara. Even the presence of the somewhat cringe-worthy Snarf couldn't dim the show's popularity. The series chronicles the adventures of a group of feline humanoid aliens from the planet Thundarr. Their homeworld's tragic destruction forces them to seek refuge on Third Earth after being pursued by the villainous mutants of Thundarr. What follows is a tale that masterfully blends elements of science fiction and fantasy into a classic battle of good versus evil. ThunderCats doesn't shy away from embracing futuristic technology alongside magic and myth. Amidst all the action, the series never loses sight of the importance of moral values in resolving conflicts. Transformers, 1984 to 1987. Very few film adaptations of beloved children's cartoons hit the mark, and the Transformers franchise, directed by Michael Bay in the 2000s, did something that probably no other franchise could. But before it became a blockbuster movie series, it all began with Hasbro toys that found their way onto Saturday morning screens, which was the case with many other awesome franchises. To say the very least, The concept was as simple as it was ingenious. Uber cool cars and trucks and planes that could seamlessly transform into robots. A dream come true for any kid. This animated series followed a tried and true formula. The Autobots, the good guys, pitted against the Decepticons, the bad guys. But Transformers knew which ingredients to put in how much quantity. What set it apart, aside from the transforming robots, was a stellar voice cast. Peter Cullen, who later reprised his role in the Michael Bay films, lent his iconic voice to the legendary Optimus Prime. The success of the show paved the way for an animated gem, The Transformers, the movie, slotted between seasons 2 and 3. But let's rewind a bit to where it all began. The 3-part pilot miniseries, retrospectively titled More Than Meets the Eye, kicked things off in September 1984. It whisked viewers into the epic conflict between Optimus Prime's valiant Autobots and Megatron's malevolent Decepticons. These robotic beings, hailing from the metallic planet of Cybertron, crash-landed on Earth in their quest for new energy sources to fuel their endless war. However, they remained dormant for a staggering 4 million years. Fast forward to the year 1984, and both Autobots and Decepticons come back online. The Decepticons, true to their nature, embark on an energy-siphoning spree across Earth. On the flip side, the Autobots, aided by Sparkplug and Spikewit-Wiki, stand as the planet's defenders. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1987 to 1996. In this absolute favorite of many from the 80s and 90s, 4 young turtles, mere hatchlings, unceremoniously plunged into a grimy sewer, where they tumbled into a pool of inexplicable, glowing ooze. The result? A transformation into humanoid creatures. But there's more to the story. They're not alone in this oddity. A humanoid rat named Splinter, too, succumbs to the strange chemicals' effects. What follows is an extraordinary tale of camaraderie and martial arts mastery. Splinter becomes their sensei, imparting the secrets of ninjutsu to these newly formed humanoids, each named after a revered Renaissance artist. Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, and Leonardo, our 4 heroes now wielding the skills of ninjas, find themselves pitted against sinister adversaries like Krang and Shredder, and their fuel, their lifeblood, is none other than pizza. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or TMNT for short, is the result of the exemplary creative brilliance from its comic book writers and TV producers. It's a show that encapsulates the essence of the 80s in a most unconventional way. At its core, TMNT is about family, unity, and the indomitable spirit of camaraderie. Despite their shared origin in that mysterious ooze, each turtle emerges as a distinct character. From their colored headbands to their choice of weapons, they resonate with unique personalities that continue to spark debates among fans. It's not merely about 4 identical-looking turtles, it's about the essence that sets them apart and yet binds them together. Muppet Babies, 1984 to 1991. In the 1980s, there was one name that reigned supreme in both TV and cinema: Jim Henson's Muppets. From the uproarious The Muppet Show to silver screen classics like The Great Muppet Caper and The Muppets Take Manhattan, these beloved characters had conquered it all. The Muppet Babies took the iconic Muppet Gang in an entirely new direction. Instead of their usual adult selves, we found Kermit, Miss Piggy, Fozzie, and company reimagined as toddlers in a nursery overseen by their nanny, who remained a shoulder-down mystery. These pint-sized Muppets delved into the boundless world of imagination. The show was a celebration of the incredible power of imagination. Each episode transported us into a world where the Muppet Babies turned mundane surroundings into epic playgrounds of the mind. Through their make-believe adventures, they whisked us away on fantastical journeys limited only by their creativity. It was every child's dream come true, brought to life on the small screen. Garfield and Friends, 1988 to 1994. Garfield and Friends catapulted the world's grumpiest, lasagna-loving cat Garfield from the comic strip pages into the hearts of millions. This iconic series introduced us to the ever-irresistible charms of Garfield, the mirthful misadventures of his owner, John Arbuckle, and the bumbling Odie, the unfortunate recipient of Garfield's relentless pranks. John's quest for romance, typically thwarted by Garfield's antics, was a recurring theme, which often resulted in hilarious frustrations of dealing with a certain orange tabby's mischief. Dr. Liz Wilson stepped in as Garfield's unflappable veterinarian, while John's mailman, Herman Post, couldn't escape the zany whirlwind that was John's life. Non-human characters brought their own quirks to the table, Nermal, an unintentional thorn in Garfield's side, often stirred the pot with his feline antics. How could I forget Penelope Pussycat, who found herself in an Italian restaurant serving as Garfield's love interest? Before Garfield and Friends became a Saturday morning sensation, it made waves with Emmy-nominated primetime specials like Garfield's Halloween Adventure and Garfield's Thanksgiving. This indomitable comic strip, created by Jim Davis in 1976, held the record for being the world's most widely syndicated, which has etched Garfield into pop culture history for time immemorial. Garfield and Friends was the gift that kept on giving, birthing spin-offs and even a couple of live-action films starring Bill Murray, though we'd rather forget those cinematic versions.
Skull from the evil forces of Skeletor.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, 1983 to 1985. In the early 80s, what can only be described as a phenomenon took the form of a brawny hero named He-Man, whose adventures took place on the mythical planet of Eternia, a realm of magic, myth, and high fantasy. He-Man's true identity was Prince Adam, the offspring of Eternia's reigning monarchs, King Grandor and Queen Marlena. When destiny beckoned, Prince Adam wielded the Sword of Power and said the phrase that every 80s kid remembered: "By the power of Grayskull, I have the power!" In that electrifying moment, he was transformed into He-Man, the mightiest being in the cosmos. This champion was not alone, though. His loyal allies included the courageous Battle Cat, the Sorceress, Teela, Man-at-Arms, and the jovial but bumbling and somewhat cringe Orko. United, they stood as the bulwark against the sinister machinations of Skeletor, the villain who was driven by the singular ambition to seize powers at all costs. Success would not only grant him dominion over Eternia, but potentially the entire universe. The impact of He-Man extended far beyond the confines of the television screen. For every kid of that era, boys and perhaps some girls too, He-Man action figures were treasured possessions. He was the quintessential superhero, embodying bravery and strength. Despite the series running for only 2 seasons, each season boasted a staggering 65 episodes, ensuring that reruns became an enduring childhood ritual. The Real Ghostbusters, 1986 to 1991. In the wake of the seismic box office success of 1984's Ghostbusters, which sent shockwaves through the world of cinema, people wanted to skim some more cash from the movie's success. So yeah, we got the Real Ghostbusters animated series. This show wasn't just a run-of-the-mill spin-off. Instead, it continued the extraordinary adventures of the beloved paranormal quartet, namely Peter Venkman, Egon Spengler, Ray Stantz and Winston Zeddemore, and, of course, alongside their resourceful secretary, Janine, the meticulous accountant, Lewis, and their gooey green mascot, Slimer. Together, they roamed the bustling streets of New York City and ventured to far-flung corners of the world, relentlessly pursuing and entrapping troublesome spooks, specters, spirits, and ghosts. Now, what could have been a risky gambit turned out to be a masterstroke of storytelling. While the original cinematic cast, led by the irrepressible Bill Murray, opted not to reprise the roles, the animated series was far from being a mere imitation of its blockbuster predecessor. The new voice actors breathed fresh life into these iconic characters, refusing to tread the path of nostalgia and instead carving their unique adventures. Alvin and the Chipmunks, 1983 to 1990. For a staggering 8 seasons, young viewers across the globe hummed with a trio of chipmunk rock stars: Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. These tuneful brothers made up the core of Alvin and the Chipmunks, and everyone had their favorite among the Chipmunks. Alvin, the front man, had a knack for mischief that kept things interesting. Simon, the spectacled brainiac, brought brains to the band and was the voice of reason. Lastly, Theodore, the baby of the bunch, brought the much-needed innocence and charm that a kid's show needs in abundance. Their unconventional family unit revolved around their human friend, guardian and manager, Dave. In every episode, you could count on the Chipmunks stumbling into trouble, setting off a cascade of boisterous hijinks. Dave's trademark shout of "Alvin" echoed through the tumult, but in the next half hour, this unique family would always come full circle because, in the end, they were bound by unbreakable love. While Hollywood later tried to reinterpret the trio through a series of mediocre computer-animated and live-action hybrid films, it's their original voices that we'll always remember. Alvin and the Chipmunks was the quintessential cartoon for children of all ages, delighting toddlers with their squeaky voices and engaging big kids with their music and Alvin's rebellious spirit. The Smurfs, 1981 to 1989. The Smurfs, born from a Belgian comic in the 1950s, was a breath of fresh air in the world of Saturday morning cartoons. Nestled in a forest, these short blue beings called Smurfs lived in charming mushroom houses, which was nothing less than a fantastical sight for young viewers in the 80s. This series offered a delightful ensemble of characters, each with a distinct personality, from the wise Papa Smurf to the bookish brainy Smurf and the ever-relaxed lazy Smurf. Their unique language, peppered with the word Smurf, lent an air of whimsy to their daily lives. They frequently found themselves in opposition to the likes of Gargamel, the malevolent wizard, and his feline companion, Azrael. One of the show's mysteries lay in Smurfette's origin story, the sole female Smurf in their secluded village. The Smurfs aired its last episode in 1989, but their popularity still lives on, which is why we have the show in this list. Furthermore, syndicated reruns on the Cartoon Network and Boomerang have kept the Smurfs alive and well. Additionally, the franchise has seen the release of 3 full-length Smurfs films since 2011. DuckTales, 1987. DuckTales, the 1987 marvelous show from Disney, brought the beloved miserly duck Scrooge McDuck, or Uncle Scrooge, to life. Alongside him were his spirited grandnephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, who formed an adventurous trio whose adventures took them on quests for treasure while thwarting the nefarious plans of villains eyeing Scrooge's vast fortune. The show wove classic themes into its narratives, often drawing inspiration from mythology and playfully parodying iconic action and adventure tales, with nods to the likes of Indiana Jones, James Bond, and Sherlock Holmes. In 2017, DuckTales received a well-received reboot on Disney XD, featuring a star-studded cast of comedic actors, including the venerable David Tennant of Doctor Who fame, who voiced Scrooge. The series' premise revolved around Scrooge's initial reluctance to care for his hyperactive grandnephews when their guardian, Donald Duck, joined the US Navy. Over time, he warmed to their intelligence and resourcefulness, embarking on myriad adventures alongside them. Scrooge McDuck, with his distinctive Scottish accent, spats, and top hat, became an iconic character in animation. The villains in DuckTales were equally cool, with comic-inspired characters like Flintheart Glomgold, who aimed to surpass Scrooge as the world's richest duck, and the Beagle Boys, a gang of would-be robbers often targeting Scrooge's money bin. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. In 1989, Chip and Dale, the iconic Disney Chipmunks, embarked on a new adventure in Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. This syndicated weekday series breathed fresh life into the mischievous duo, giving them the noble cause of operating a detective agency. Chip, sporting a dashing leather jacket and fedora, channeled Indiana Jones, while Dale's laid-back style, complete with a Hawaiian shirt, paid homage to Magnum P.I. Joining forces with their capable friends, Gadget Hackwrench, Monterey Jack, and Zipper, the pint-sized detectives tackled cases too minor for the police to bother with. Each episode followed a self-contained format, with the gang delving into a new case, gathering clues, and conducting their investigation. Typically, the resolution arrived in the final moments, often with dramatic flair. Decades later, in 2022, the legacy of Chip and Dale's detective agency continued in a live-action remake titled Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Starring John Mulaney, Andy Samberg, and Kiki Lane, this meta-comedy fused animated characters with live actors. The Simpsons, 1989. It's not an 80s Saturday morning classic, but it's an indisputable legend. The Simpsons is a show that transcended the confines of primetime sitcoms to become a cultural phenomenon. Although it kicked off as a series of animated shorts on The Tracy Ullman Show, its impact on American culture remains truly immeasurable. Set in the fictional town of Springfield, this animated epic has been a fount of social commentary and satire, all neatly packaged with a healthy dose of zany gags. At its core lies the lovably flawed Simpson family, whose misguided antics are the source of entertainment. From iconic catchphrases like, "Don't have a cow, man," to an array of unforgettable episodes like the Treehouse of Horror anthology, The Simpsons has become what most other animated shows can only dream of becoming. Not to mention the parade of famous guest stars who have graced the show as animated versions of themselves, including luminaries like Paul McCartney, Meryl Streep, and the legendary Johnny Cash. The family includes Homer, the bumbling patriarch who somehow lands a job as a safety inspector at the Springfield nuclear power plant. He's married to Marge, the quintessential American housewife and mother. Together, they're raising 3 kids: Bart, the 10-year-old prankster, Lisa, the precocious 8-year-old activist, and Maggie, the baby of the family whose pacifier communicates more than her words. Despite their quirks and chaos, The Simpsons are a family that truly cares about one another. Grandpa Simpson, confined to the Springfield retirement home, is another gem of a character who often exacerbates the familial complexity, as his forced house sale facilitated the purchase of the Simpson family home. Completing the household are Santa's little helper, the family dog, and Snowball 2, the original cat. Both pets have their moments in the spotlight throughout the show's storied run. Teen Wolf, 1986. Teen Wolf, the animated series, transformed the coming-of-age werewolf story from the film into an engaging, youth-focused cartoon. Scott Howard and his family, now residing in Wolverton, a town known for werewolf sightings, made things more interesting. Unlike the film, Scott had a little sister and grandparents, which helped in more profound stories around family values. While catering to a youthful audience, the series subtly tackled issues of disability and civil rights. Scott's struggles with feeling weird before and during his transformations were relatable metaphors for adolescence and puberty. The show highlighted how he accommodated his unique condition and addressed the stereotypes people held about his kind. There was also the addition of characters like Mick, a jock who targeted Scott, and Pamela, a cheerleader. Thundarr, the Barbarian, 1980. In the post-apocalyptic world of Thundarr the Barbarian, Earth is a chaotic wasteland of kingdoms and territories ruled by malevolent wizards. This future Earth is marred by the remnants of recognizable American landmarks, including shattered cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. The cataclysmic events that led to this world include a runaway planet's passage between Earth and the Moon, causing drastic changes in climate and geography. The series follows Thundarr, a powerful warrior armed with the Sun Sword, a blade-like energy weapon. He's joined by Princess Ariel, a skilled sorceress, and Uklar the Mock, a lion-like creature. Together, they travel on horseback, combating injustice and facing off against evil wizards who harness both magic and advanced pre-apocalyptic technology. Their adventures pit them against various foes, from werewolf-like creatures to cosmic vampires, as well as intelligent humanoid animal races and mutants. Thundarr the Barbarian masterfully blends elements of savagery, super science, and sorcery to create a captivating and imaginative post-apocalyptic world.
Voltron, Defender of the Universe.
Voltron, 1984. Nearly 4 decades since its debut, Voltron still reigns supreme among iconic 80s cartoons. What makes it worth your time even today? Well, it's the ultimate yardstick for when a bunch of smaller things come together to create something bigger, a reference that stood the test of time. The core of the series revolves around the Voltron Force, a trio of expert combat units, each piloting lion-shaped vehicles. But here's where the magic happens. These mechanized lions can seamlessly combine to form a colossal, unstoppable robot known as the Mighty Voltron. The result? Pure 80s kid nirvana. Voltron's legacy extends far and wide, its impact echoing through subsequent generations of shows and films. From the Power Rangers to the epic battles of Pacific Rim, its influence is undeniable. And let's not forget its shout-outs in the world of hip-hop, with artists like Eminem, Nelly, and the Wu-Tang Clan paying homage to this mecha masterpiece. Silverhawks, 1986. In Silverhawks, Commander Stargazer, a bionic space enforcer, assembles a formidable team of heroes known as the Silverhawks. These extraordinary individuals are a unique blend of the organic and the mechanical, aptly described as partly metal, partly real. Their mission is to thwart the nefarious Monstar, cunning alien crime boss who possesses the power to transform into a colossal, armor-plated behemoth, thanks to the enigmatic Moonstar of Limbo. Leading this brave squad is Quicksilver, formerly known as Jonathan Quick, accompanied by his loyal Metalbird companion, Tallyhawk. Siblings Emily and Will Hart assume the roles of Steelheart and Steel Will, with one serving as the team's technician and the other as their strongman. The melodious Bluegrass takes the reins of the Mirage, the Silverhawk ship. These valiant heroes sport sleek, full-body metal armor, leaving only their faces and one arm exposed. Their suits boast retractable protective masks, underarm wings, except for Bluegrass, heel thrusters, and shoulder-mounted laser weaponry. Alongside Commander Stargazer and the Silverhawks stands an assortment of malevolent characters in Monstar's intergalactic mob. As the Silverhawks soar through the cosmos, they must foil Monstar's wicked plans, protecting the galaxy from his malicious machinations.
Come back here!
Heathcliff, 1984. In the battle of 80s cat-themed cartoons, some kids proudly wore the Heathcliff jersey. The animated series had a stellar lineup, with Mel Blanc lending his iconic voice to the titular character. Blanc, renowned for his work in Looney Tunes, brought his vocal magic to Heathcliff, making it a must-watch. Behind the scenes, the show boasted top-notch talent too. Chuck Lorre, the mastermind behind several beloved 90s and 2000s sitcoms, flexed his writing muscles on this project. And let's not forget Laura Numeroff, the creative mind behind the If You Give a Mouse a Cookie children's series, who also contributed to the show. Heathcliff's antics kept audiences engaged for an impressive 5 seasons. Based on George Gately's 70s comic strip, it revolved around a mischievous cat who had a knack for getting into trouble with just about everyone in town, from the local fish store owner to the milkman and, of course, his regular run-ins with the neighborhood dogs. Heathcliff's adventures delivered laughs and fun for all ages.
Got any money?
Inspector Gadget, 1983. Inspector Gadget, the half-man, half-cyborg crime fighter, was the definition of cool for many growing up in the 80s. Decked out in his trusty trench coat, Gadget had a knack for transforming himself into the perfect gadget for any situation. Voiced by Don Adams, this animated series was a playful nod to the classic show Get Smart, where a bumbling detective somehow always managed to save the day. While Gadget himself may not have been the sharpest tool in the shed, he had a secret weapon, his resourceful niece Penny, voiced by the remarkable Cree Summer, and her trusty dog, Brain. Together, they thwarted evil villains, with Dr. Claw brought to life by Frank Welker. And for those craving more Gadget goodness, a series of live-action movies featuring Matthew Broderick as the titular inspector hit screens in the late 90s and early 2000s, which allowed the next generation to enjoy the adventures of this iconic crime-fighting cyborg. Care Bears, 1985. Care Bears, the delightful 1985 animated series, brings a warm and fuzzy touch to our list. Just the mention of their name tends to elicit an "aw" from anyone. For those who haven't had the pleasure of meeting these lovable creatures, the Care Bears reside in a magical realm nestled high in the clouds, aptly named Care-a-Lot, alongside their trusty buddies and cousins, armed with care and a sprinkle of magic to mend everything in their path. Each bear possesses a unique character trait or ability, symbolized by an adorable icon adorning their plush bellies. With such a cute premise, Care Bears easily claims the title of one of the most heartwarming shows of the era, probably outshining even Rainbow Bright and My Little Pony. It's the kind of show that warms your heart and leaves you with a warm and fuzzy feeling. She-Ra, Princess of Power, 1985. She-Ra, Princess of Power was a show designed to cater to a young female audience, perfectly complementing the popularity of He-Man among young males. While He-Man was based on the Masters of the Universe toy line by Mattel, She-Ra was the result of a collaboration between Mattel and Filmation. The series revolves around Princess Adora, the twin sister of Prince Adam. She takes on the role of a leader for the Great Rebellion, a group of freedom fighters dedicated to liberating Etheria from the oppressive rule of Hordak and the evil Horde. Armed with her sword of protection, Adora possesses the ability to transform into the formidable She-Ra, much like her brother's transformation into He-Man. Princess Adora's origin story begins on the planet Eternia, where she was born to Queen Marlena and King Randor. Tragically, she's abducted by Hordak and taken to Etheria, where she serves as a mind-controlled Horde force captain, until He-Man rescues her. After being reunited with her parents on Eternia, she makes the decision to return to Etheria and lead the Great Rebellion against Hordak's tyranny. In more recent developments, Amazon announced a live-action adaptation of She-Ra, with DreamWorks Animation as an executive producer. This new series will feature a standalone storyline unconnected to the original animated show and will be directed by Nicole Castle. Exciting news for fans of this beloved character and her empowering adventures. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, 1981. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends swung onto our screens in 1981, delivering fresh adventures featuring the iconic web slinger. This animated series not only reintroduced familiar characters, but also introduced an original female superhero named Firestar. The dynamic trio of Spider-Man, Iceman, and the fiery newcomer Firestar formed the Spider Friends. Together, they embarked on heroic quests to combat various notorious villains from the Marvel Universe. Their base of operations, the bustling Empire State University, where all three were college students. As they teamed up to thwart foes like the Beetle and recover the stolen power booster from none other than Tony Stark, the trio decided to make their alliance permanent. They shared a unique living arrangement in the home of Peter Parker's aunt, along with a rather special addition, Ms. Lion, the Lhasa Apso pup adopted by Firestar. Throughout the series, viewers were treated to exciting team-ups with other beloved superheroes, including Captain America, Thor, Sunfire, and the X-Men from the mid-1970s. Despite some minor controversies that resulted in reduced episode counts for reruns, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends remained a highly entertaining and meaningful show, delivering positive messages of self-esteem to its young audience. A web-slinging adventure worth remembering. Dungeons & Dragons, 1983 to 1985. Dungeons & Dragons, the animated series that took us on a magical roller coaster ride in 1983, remains a pop culture phenomenon that still inspires shows like Stranger Things. This show is all about a group of young friends, aged between 9 and 15, who find themselves transported to the mystical realm of Dungeons & Dragons during an eventful trip to an amusement park. Their unexpected arrival in this fantastical world brings them face to face with the Dungeon Master, aptly named after the revered referee in the role-playing game on which the show is based. In true questing fashion, Dungeon Master gives each child a magical item, setting them on an unforgettable journey filled with trials, mysteries, and epic adventures. The main objective for these young heroes is to find a way back home, but their compassionate nature often leads them to detours where they aid those in need or discover their destinies intertwined with others. Along the way, they encounter a plethora of formidable adversaries, with the primary antagonist being the power-hungry wizard Venger. His insatiable desire to rule the realm drives him to seek the children's weapons, believing they hold the key to his dominion. Another recurring villain is Tiamat, a five-headed dragon, feared even by Venger himself. Dungeons & Dragons masterfully combine thrilling adventures with moral lessons, capturing the imaginations of viewers, young and old, a true gem of 80s animation. Snorks, 1984. Snorks, the whimsical aquatic inhabitants of Snorkland, burst onto the scene in the 80s as an animated undersea adventure that made a splash with viewers of all ages. These lovable, pint-sized sea creatures sported snorkels on their heads, which not only added flair but also propelled them gracefully through the water. When the Snorks got excited, their snorkels emitted a similar sound. Despite their unique appearance, the Snorks were not yet run-of-the-mill sea creatures. They boasted technology and culture akin to contemporary humans, cleverly adapted for their aquatic habitat. What's more, these aquatic beings used clams as their currency, giving a whole new meaning to the phrase, "Show me the clams." The captivating backstory of the Snorks, narrated in the show's opening theme, took us back to the year 1634. A few intrepid Snorks ventured to the surface, which they believed to be the equivalent of outer space. There, they witnessed a dramatic encounter between a Royal Navy ship from the Spanish Armada and a band of marauding pirates. When the ship's captain found himself in perilous waters, it was the Snorks who came to his rescue, forging a cross-species connection. The grateful captain immortalized this extraordinary encounter in his logbook, although most humans remained skeptical about the existence of the Snorks. Over time, the Snorks began to adopt certain human customs, including the habit of wearing clothes. Snorks was a delightful journey into a world where the whimsical met the aquatic, and will always be remembered for its charming characters and imaginative premise. The Scooby and Scrappy-Doo Show, 1980. Departing from the original format of the iconic quartet of teenagers and their trusty canine companions, tackling faux supernatural mysteries, these shorts took a different, more comedic direction. Here, the gang's adventures veered towards simpler yet hilariously entertaining adventures, where the mysteries were not mere hoaxes but contained genuine supernatural villains. This marked a significant departure from the franchise's earlier episodes, where the culprits behind the masks were typically regular humans in disguise. Over the course of 3 seasons, spanning from 1980 to 1982, a total of 33 half-hour episodes were produced. Each episode featured a trio of 7-minute shorts that provided bite-sized doses of Scooby-Doo's trademark humor and suspense. The first season in 1980 to 81 introduced viewers to 13 episodes, while 7 more followed in the 1981-82 season as segments of the Richie Rich Scooby-Doo Show. The final 13 episodes found their home in the 1982-83 season as segments of the Scooby and Scrappy-Doo Puppy Hour. Out of the 99 shorts that graced our screens, 86 of them featured Scooby-Doo, his spirited nephew Scrappy-Doo, and the perpetually famished Shaggy, sans the rest of the Mystery Inc. gang. The remaining 13 shorts placed the spotlight solely on Scrappy-Doo and his courageous cousin Yabba-Doo. M.A.S.K, aka Mobile Armored Strike Command, 1985. M.A.S.K was one of the best examples of how to marry toy merchandising with animated storytelling. Developed by Kenner in 1985, the franchise spawned both a line of transforming armored vehicles and an animated television series designed to bring these toys to life. Debuting in the same year as its toy counterparts, the animated series held the spotlight for 2 action-packed seasons, from 1985 to 1986. M.A.S.K was an acronym that stood for Mobile Armored Strike Command. This elite special task force, led by Matt Tracker, took center stage in a relentless battle against the nefarious criminal organization known as Venom, or Vicious Evil Network of Mayhem. What truly set this series apart were the superpowered helmets, aptly referred to as masks, adorning the characters of both M.A.S.K and Venom. These masks gave their wearers incredible abilities. Venom's ambitions were firmly rooted in greed, often pursuing financial gain through nefarious means such as robbery, extortion, counterfeiting, kidnapping, or even daring attempts to pilfer historical artifacts. Yet, in classical hero versus villain fashion, the M.A.S.K team consistently rose to the occasion, thwarting Venom's sinister schemes with resourcefulness and valor. Beetlejuice, 1989, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. The name that summons a chaotic con man from the netherworld onto our screens was based on Tim Burton's 1988 film of the same name, and with the Beetlejuice animated series, Burton donned the executive producer's hat. This otherworldly animated series offered a peek into the quirky life of Lydia Dietz, the goth girl with an affinity for all things dark and unusual. Lydia's unusual friend was the mischievous Beetlejuice, who was now resurrected and ready to go on a series of supernatural misadventures. Their playground was the Neitherworld, a delightfully eerie and ghoulish supernatural realm teeming with an assortment of monsters, ghosts, goblins, and zombies. Each episode unfurls a ghostly caper, with Beetlejuice at the center of the chaos, joined by his trusty sidekick Lydia. Together, they navigate the realms of the Neitherworld and the Mortal World, specifically the New England town of Peaceful Pines, which was also known as Winter River in the film. A simple three-word incantation, Beetlejuice, 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 was Lydia's ticket to summoning her spirited friend or venturing into his chaotic world. The series brims with humor rooted in sight gags, clever wordplay, and references galore. With a penchant for parody, especially in later episodes, it playfully skewers famous movies, books, and TV shows. In fact, one fan's imaginative idea led to the episode titled Brides of Funkenstein, which showed the show's commitment to fan engagement. Throughout their episodes, Beetlejuice often attempts to pull fast ones on Neitherworld residents and occasionally the unsuspecting folks in the mortal world, including Lydia's parents. His schemes, from unconventional babysitting methods to daring auto races, never fail to entertain. The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, 1985. It all begins with the unintended detour to the Himalayas, where the gang, Scrappy-Doo and a pint-sized con artist named Flim Flam, stumble upon a mystical temple. Inside the temple, they fall prey to the antics of two ghostly tricksters, Weird and Bogle, who manipulate them into opening the Chest of Demons. Now, the Chest of Demons isn't your ordinary curio. It's home to the most terrifying and powerful ghosts and demons ever to tread the earth, and only those who unwittingly unleash these malevolent entities can corral them back into the chest. That responsibility falls squarely on the shoulders of our beloved gang. Luckily, they're not alone in their quest. The gang receives magical aid from Vincent Van Gool, a warlock with a crystal ball hotline. As for Fred and Velma, they're noticeably absent in this spirited series. Turns out, they were off having their own summer camp adventure. The Berenstain Bears, 1985. The show revolves around the Berenstain Bear family, comprised of Mama Bear, Papa Q Bear, and their cubs, Brother Bear and Sister Bear. Together, they go on heartwarming adventures and life lessons, offering a wholesome blend of entertainment and education. Through trials and tribulations, the show depicts their growth, development, and the many challenges they face in their idyllic woodland community. Of course, the Berenstain Bears are not the sole inhabitants of this enchanting world. From the wise Actual Factual to the affable Farmer Ben, the colourful denizens of Bear Country enhance the show. Yet, every story needs a touch of conflict, and here, the role of antagonist is fulfilled by the crafty con artist Raffish Ralph, and on occasion, Weasel McGreed. The school bully, Too Tall Grizzly, also makes appearances in a few episodes. In Bear Country, every day is an opportunity for discovery, growth, and camaraderie. From the bustling buzz of honey gathering to the endearing interactions with fellow forest creatures, the Berenstain Bears has everything. Bionic 6. The story begins when a fateful encounter with an alien spacecraft triggers a catastrophic avalanche during a family ski vacation in the Himalayas. Buried beneath the snow, the family is exposed to a mysterious radiation coming from a hidden object. While Jack Bennett, the test pilot and Professor Sharp's secret field agent, escapes the avalanche unscathed, his family falls into a mysterious coma. Professor Sharp, driven by a desire to save the family, implants them with bionic technology, which awakens them from their comatose state. United by their newfound powers and a sense of duty, the family embarks on a covert mission to protect humanity from various threats, all while maintaining their public image as celebrated adventurers. But every hero needs a formidable adversary, and in this epic tale, the primary antagonist is Dr. Scarab. Leading a gang of ruthless henchmen, Scarab is a mad scientist with insidious plans. His ultimate goals are immortality and world domination, and he believes that the key to unlocking these ambitions lies in his brother's groundbreaking bionic technology. The Bionic 6 confronts the relentless threat posed by Scarab and his legion of Cyphron drone robots, and the show becomes a stage where science fiction meets superhero action. Brave Star, 1987. Brave Star is the thrilling space western saga that takes place on the desert planet of New Texas, a remote outpost located in a distant planetary system far from the reaches of Earth. Because of a 3-star system, life is difficult and the environment is challenging, where survival hinges on the import of vital resources. While vast stretches of land are dominated by unforgiving deserts and prairies, there's a lone oasis in the form of a wetland inhabited by enigmatic creatures known as ape cats. Water is extracted from the peculiar cactus-like aqua pod plants. The lifeblood of New Texas, however, lies beneath the surface in the form of cerium, a red mineral that serves as a potent fuel source. The greed for cerium often sparks intense conflicts and rivalries among the denizens of New Texas. However, the show's central character is Marshall Bravestar, the guardian of New Texas. A Native American with remarkable abilities, Bravestar can build mystical connections with spirit animals, which gives him extraordinary powers when the need arises. He gets his powers from the eyes of the hawk, ears of the wolf, strength of the bear, and speed of the puma. Equipped with cutting-edge technology, Bravestar wields an array of gadgets, including a computerized visor, a two-way radio, and a versatile arsenal like his trusty Neutra laser pistol, the Trans-Freezer rifle, etc. Camp Candy, 1989. Camp Candy took the viewers into the world of a fictional summer camp overseen by the real-life comedian John Candy. Airing between 1989 and 1990 on NBC, this animated series comprises 26 entertaining episodes that capture the essence of outdoor adventures and camaraderie. John Candy, in his role as camp director, leads the way in demonstrating various outdoor skills to the young campers. However, his tales often hark back to past adventures, which he relays through narration. At Camp Candy, John Candy tries to foster cooperation and friendship among the diverse group of kids in his care. The show's narrative is enriched by the presence of recurring challenges, such as the threats to the camp's financial stability posed by the cunning Rex DeForest III. In its third season, Camp Candy introduced live-action segments featuring John Candy, where he shared insights on nature and ecology. Captain N, the Game Master. Captain N, the Game Master, thrusts us into the gaming cosmos as Kevin Keane and his loyal dog Duke are unexpectedly transported from Northridge, Los Angeles to the extraordinary universe of Videoland via the ultimate warp zone within their television. Here, Kevin assumes the mantle of Captain N, the Game Master, fated to rescue Videoland from the clutches of malevolent forces led by the sinister Mother Brain, ensconced in her floating fortress, Metroid. Upon arrival, Kevin is greeted by the N-Team, comprising Princess Lana, Simon Belmont, Mega Man, and Kid Icarus. Initially met with skepticism, Kevin embarks on a quest to save Lana after her capture by the enemy, ultimately earning the team's trust. As the series continues, Game Boy, a human-sized computer shaped like a console, joins the N-Team. In their adventures, the N-Team confronts video game adversaries, usually headed by Mother Brain and her comical cohorts, namely the Eggplant Wizard, King Hippo, and Dr. Wily. Various characters, including Donkey Kong, the Count, and Dr. Light, also make recurring appearances. The show combines action-adventure inspired by video games with humor. Centurions, 1986. Centurions Power Extreme was the epitome of the 80s animated series, blending high-concept sci-fi with a dash of toy-selling fervor. This forgotten gem featured character designs by the legendary Jack Kirby and Jill Kane, alongside a talented roster of writers, including Michael Reeves, Larry DiTilio, Mark Scott Zickery, and Jerry Conway. The show introduced a futuristic twist on armored warfare. Its heroes, with names like Max Ray, Jake Rockwell, and Ace McCloud, could instantly summon specialized armor and weaponry to battle foes with over-the-top names like Doc Terror and Hacker. Even the later additions to the team, Rex Charger and John Thundarr, sported stellar monikers. Despite its captivating premise and Kenner's toy line, Centurions met an untimely end after just one season and a mini-series preceding it. Its unique blend of real science and sci-fi storytelling was a double-edged sword, occasionally dulling the show's impact but demonstrating the creator's ambition. The Adventures of Raggedy Ann and Andy, 1988. In this whimsical animated series, the world of Raggedy Ann and Andy springs to life in the presence of a little girl named Marcella. When the human world fades away from her bedroom, the beloved dolls embark on fantastical journeys to a parallel realm. Their mission is always to thwart the bumbling sorcerer Cracklin, who threatens the peace of this enchanted land. Guided by the camel with the wrinkled knees and aided by Marcella's other stuffed companions, including the witty Grouchy Bear and the charming Sunny Bunny, Raggedy Ann and Andy face various challenges. From ancient Egypt to Native American tribes, the toys travel to different eras and locales, occasionally teaming up with modern playthings like robots and toy soldiers. Although primarily tailored for younger audiences, the series occasionally touched on issues like poaching, as the dolls work to protect endangered unicorns from ruthless cattle rustlers seeking to profit from their horns. The Adventures of the Galaxy Rangers, 1986. In the futuristic world of the Adventures of the Galaxy Rangers, which was set beyond 2086, humans from Earth ally with two extraterrestrial species, the Andorians and the Kerwans, to counter the expansionist Crown Empire ruled by the Queen of the Crown. In exchange for their assistance, these alien allies grant humanity the knowledge to construct a hyperdrive device, revolutionizing interstellar travel. As humans venture into the cosmos, establishing numerous colonies in distant star systems, they face burgeoning criminal threats. To safeguard against such dangers, including the Crown Empire, the Bureau for Extraterrestrial Affairs is formed, complete with the dedicated Ranger Division. Beta, the principal military and exploratory body on Earth, oversees multiple bases, like the Longshot Research Facility in the Grand Canyon and the Beta space station in Earth's orbit. Throughout the series, various colonies, primarily focused on agriculture and mining precious starstones, populate the galaxy and bear names similar to a Wild West frontier, namely Nebraska, Mesa, Ozark, and Prairie. ALF, the animated series. ALF, the animated series, serves as a prequel to its live-action sitcom counterpart, delving into the extraterrestrial character's life on M.A.S.K before the planet's unfortunate destruction. The show refrains from using the acronym ALF, or Alien Lifeform, opting for the character's full name, Gordon Shumway. Set in suburban East Velcro on M.A.S.K, the series follows teenage Gordon as he lives his life with his family, parents Bob and Flo, brother Curtis, young sister Augie, and their trusty dog Neep. Gordon, often referred to as Gordo by friends Rick and Skip, enjoys the company of his girlfriend Rhonda and occasionally fulfills mandatory duty with the Melmatian Orbit Guard. The show features a colourful cast of supporting characters, including fortune teller Madame Poughkeepsie and the villain Larson Petty, accompanied by his sidekick Egbert. The all-new Popeye Hour, 1978 to 1983. The all-new Popeye Hour sailed onto screens in the late 70s, a Hanna-Barbera production aiming to capture the essence of the beloved Thimble Theatre comic strip while adhering to stricter content regulations. However, it was a super hit in the 80s as well. The series embraced iconic characters such as Popeye, Bluto, Olive Oil, and Wimpy, alongside fan favourites like Sweet Pea, Poop Deck Pappy, Eugene the Jeep, and Popeye's rambunctious quadruplet nephews. In this rendition, Popeye donned his classic blue sailor uniform with the signature white hat, and Olive Oil also reverted to her 1930s look. The show initially featured 3 segments: Popeye, Popeye's Treasure Hunt, and Dinky Dog, the latter focusing on the adventures of an oversized sheepdog. In 1979, the series introduced a Popeye Sports Parade to its lineup. To accommodate TV content restrictions, Popeye's retaliations against Bluto shifted from punches to actions like lifting and tossing him. The safety-conscious show also included informative interstitials, featuring valuable tips on hygiene, health, and safety. These segments occasionally showcased Mr. No-No, an anthropomorphic wolf engaging in hazardous activities like smoking, abusing drugs, drinking, etc. But he'd be driven away by Popeye, which aimed to serve as a cautionary example. The Biscuits, 1983. The Biscuits are a pint-sized pack of anthropomorphic dogs residing on Biscuit Island. Their sworn duty is safeguarding the crown jewels of Biscuit Castle and upholding a tradition of benevolence. These diminutive heroes, fashioned in the image of Robin Hood, honor their late king by performing charitable deeds for their island's less fortunate denizens. The villain in the show is the king's conniving younger brother, Max of Lower Suburbia. Max's relentless schemes to pilfer the royal treasure keep the Biscuits on their toes. Assisting him are his menacing henchhounds, Fang and Snarl, and the mischievous jester, Shecky. To add to their troubles, a wildcat named Scratch almost always lurks nearby, eager to make a meal of the Biscuits. Black Star, 1981. Black Star follows the cosmic adventures of John Blackstar, an astronaut marooned on the mystical planet Sagar after a cosmic mishap. Stranded on this alien planet, he forms an alliance with Trobbits, the versatile clone, the dragon named Warlock, and the enchanting Mara. Together, they stand as the last line of defense against the tyrannical Overlord, who harbors dark ambitions of conquest in the alien realm. A thrilling tale of heroism unfolds in this epic space fantasy series. The Bugs Bunny Show. The Bugs Bunny Show had quite the journey in the world of television. It initially graced the small screen with its iconic Looney Tunes characters, only to migrate to Saturday mornings on CBS for a long stretch. However, after CBS relinquished the rights in the mid-80s, the show found its way back to ABC, where it morphed through different iterations. In its ABC run, it went from the Bugs Bunny Looney Tunes Comedy Hour to the Bugs Bunny and Tweety Show. During this transformation, some characters like Tweety and Speedy Gonzales had their moments in the spotlight, while others were excluded due to concerns about stereotypes. The show's duration also fluctuated, at times extending to a full hour. Through these changes, the irrepressible spirit of Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes gang continued to captivate children of all ages for 4 decades, making it a beloved classic in the world of animation. The California Raisin Show, 1989. The California Raisin Show grooved its way onto the small screen following the success of the claymation special Meet the Raisins. Originally broadcast in 1988, this animated series delivered 13 episodes of fruity fun. The sequel, Raisin Sold Out, The California Raisins 2, hit the airwaves in 1990. While the Raisins are typically known for their claymation charm, the TV show opted for cell animation, with creative director Will Vinton staying on board. Set in a whimsical realm inhabited by animated fruits and veggies, the series focused on the California raisins, namely AC, Bebop, Stretch, and Red. With each episode grooving to the sounds of Motown, it was a musical adventure that brought these beloved characters to life in a whole new way. Calliope, 1978 to 1993. Calliope was a children's program that offered a mix of live action and animated short films, often featuring European classics like Cosgrove Hall's Cinderella and The Pied Piper of Hamelin. The show revolved around an elderly gent named Gene, voiced by Eugene Francis, and his canine companion, Eliza, who enjoyed watching these films together. In addition to the captivating shorts, Gene's Picks of the Week showed pictures of kids from across the USA, while Gene posed thought-provoking questions to viewers, promising Calliope balloons to those who sent in their answers. Captain Harlock and the Queen of 1,000 Years, 1986. Captain Harlock and the Queen of 1,000 Years takes place in a distant, somewhat mysterious future around 2583, where humanity has ventured out to colonize distant stars. However, prosperity has led to moral decay and decadence on Earth. Enter the Amazon, a race of sentient plants seeking to conquer Earth after their own planet's demise. A lone scientist's warnings fall on deaf ears, and Harlock, the titular character, is unjustly blamed for Amazon's attacks. Despite being an outcast, he teams up with Princess Olivia to thwart the Amazon and save humanity. This spacefaring tale blends elements of corruption, redemption, and interstellar conflict against the backdrop of a morally challenged Earth and an impending alien invasion. The Charlie Brown and Snoopy Show, 1983. The show is led by the lovable loser Charlie Brown and his sister Sally. This animated series offers a glimpse into their everyday lives, filled with mishaps and adventures. Of course, we can't forget Charlie's iconic pet dog Snoopy, who prefers sleeping atop his kennel. Woodstock, the little bird, also joins in the fun. Each character brings their unique quirks to the table, like Pigpen's perpetual cloud of dust, Schroeder's love for the piano, and Linus's unwavering attachment to his security blanket. The show's format features multiple stories per episode, providing a delightful variety of character-focused adventures. Interestingly, there are no adult characters in the series. Any adult communication is represented by a trumpet sound. The Comic Strip, 1987. The Comic Strip was an animated series that featured 4 entertaining segments. The Mini Monsters. Twins Sherman and Melissa begin on a surprising journey when sent to Camp Minimon. There, they encounter the offspring of famous monsters, including Dracula's son, Frankenstein's son, and more. Street Frogs. This segment follows the urban escapades of a gang of street smart frogs led by Big Max. Their teenage antics and interactions with the local turtle diner owner, Snappy Sam, bring humor and youthful energy to the show. Karate Cat. In a world of humanoid cats, private investigator Karate Cat uses his martial arts skills to combat crime, often facing off against the gang leader, Big Papa, and his henchmen, Tiger Sharks. This aquatic adventure features a team of human and sea animal hybrids who go on thrilling marine adventures. With powers and sea creatures by their side, they confront villains like T-Ray and Captain Bizzily in exciting 2-part episodes. Cops, Central Organization of Police Specialists, 1988. In the futuristic year of 2020, Empire City is overrun by the criminal reign of Brandon Big Boss Babel. The local police are powerless, so Mayor Davis calls in the FBI's Special Agent Baldwin P. Vess, codenamed Bulletproof, to tackle the menace. However, a serious accident leaves Bulletproof severely injured, and he's given a cybernetic bulletproof torso to get back on his feet. Bulletproof recruits Empire City cop P.J. O'Malley, codenamed Longarm, and rookie Donnie Brooks, codenamed Hardtop, to assemble an elite law enforcement team from across the nation. This diverse group, including skilled individuals like Highway, M.A.S.K, and Mainframe, becomes Cops, an agency dedicated to taking down Big Boss and his criminal syndicate. Curious George, 1982. In 1977, Alan Shellett collaborated with Margaret Ray, co-creator of Curious George, to produce a television series. Over 100 5-minute episodes and 24 books were created. The shorts initially aired on Nickelodeon in 1982, later becoming a standalone program in 1986. Disney Channel acquired broadcast rights in 1989. Defenders of the Earth, 1986. In this epic and memorable show called Defenders of the Earth, we find the valiant Flash Gordon and his son Rick in a desperate escape from the clutches of Ming the Merciless. Ming, having drained his own planet's resources, now sets his sights on Earth. Facing this perilous threat, Flash unites with the magnificent magician Mandrake, the mighty Lothar, and the ever-elusive Phantom. Together with their offspring, they become the Defenders, Earth's last line of defense against Ming's impending invasion and a multitude of other dangers. This animated masterpiece weaves a thrilling tale of heroes, villains, and the enduring fight for our world's survival. Dennis the Menace, 1986. Dennis the Menace brought to life the mischievous but endearing 5-year-old Dennis Roger Mitchell. With his trademark freckles and a heart of gold, Dennis often finds himself in a whirlwind of well-intentioned trouble. His parents, Henry and Alice Mitchell, love him dearly and can't help but marvel at the chaos he inadvertently creates. What sets Dennis apart is his genuine desire to assist those in need, even if his efforts usually result in mayhem, especially for his neighbor, Mr. Wilson. In the newspaper comics, Dennis's parents took a stricter approach, often punishing him. However, the animated series embraced a gentler tone, aligning with evolving regulations governing children's programming. It's one of my personal favorites. Denver, the Last Dinosaur, 1986. Denver, the Last Dinosaur is set in California, where the teens named Jeremy, Mario, Shades, and Wally stumble upon a remarkable discovery at the La Brea tar pits. Their adventure begins when they crack open a prehistoric egg, revealing Denver, a friendly, English-speaking dinosaur. To shield Denver from the clutches of a greedy concert promoter, the teens take him under their wing, naming him after a passing bus advertisement for Denver. As they struggle through the challenges of keeping a dinosaur secret, Denver's remarkable abilities come to light. He not only bonds with his newfound friends, but also aids them with his unique talents. The group's adventures involve dodging bullies, thwarting the devious Morton Fizzbag, and even going on time-traveling journeys using a piece of Denver's eggshell. Dink, the Little Dinosaur, 1989. Dink, the Little Dinosaur featured Dink and his 4 pals who go on adventures amidst the volcanic terrain of Green Meadow. This show, not just about fun and exploration, offers young viewers valuable lessons in friendship, caring, tolerance, ecology, and teamwork. In its second season, Factosaurus immersed to sprinkle educational tidbits about various dinosaur species, enhancing the learning experience. Dink, the Little Dinosaur is a delightful journey through both prehistory and essential life lessons. Although comparable to Denver, Dink is original in his own special way. Dinky Dog. Dinky Dog revolves around the misadventures of Sandy and Monica, 2 girls living with their uncle Dudley. Sandy's purchase of a seemingly ordinary puppy named Dinky takes an unexpected turn when the little pup grows to the size of a polar bear. This sets the stage for a series of hilarious situations as the girls grapple with the challenges posed by their oversized pet, often leaving Uncle Dudley to foot the bill for Dinky's unintentional destruction. Despite the chaos, Dinky has a knack for resolving situations in his own unique way, ultimately earning forgiveness from the girls, much to Uncle Dudley's chagrin. The show's second segment follows the trio on a world tour, where Dinky's mishaps lead to globe-trotting adventures. Originally part of the all-new Popeye Hour, Dinky Dog later spun off into its own show. Dino Riders, 1988. Dino Riders revolves around the Valorians, a peaceful species from Valoria who were thrust back in time to Earth's prehistoric era after a run-in with the Rulons, a predatory race. Stranded 65 million years in the past, the Valorians forge an alliance with dinosaurs, using their AMP necklaces to communicate telepathically. On the flip side, the Rulons, led by the ruthless Krulos, enslaved dinosaurs with brainwashing devices known as brain boxes. What follows are epic battles as the Valorians, now known as Dino Riders, unite with their dinosaur allies to thwart the Rulon threat. But the series takes some liberties with prehistory, featuring a mashup of dinosaur species from various eras, including the late Cretaceous, Triassic, and Jurassic periods, alongside creatures from the Ice Age. Dragon's Lair, 1985. Dragon's Lair revolves around the daring adventures of Dirk, the kingdom's finest knight, and his quest to protect Princess Daphne from the clutches of the malevolent dragon, Singe. Alongside original characters like his trusty steed Bertram and his squire Timothy, Dirk faces challenges and adversaries, including the arrogant knight Sir Hubert Blunt. What sets this series apart is its interactive element, reminiscent of the original game of the same name on which it's based. Before each commercial break, viewers are presented with cliffhanger scenarios, and the narrator asks, "What would you do?" After the break, the outcomes of different choices are revealed, with Dirk ultimately making the correct decision to advance the story. Fans of the game will also recognize iconic foes like the Lizard King, the Phantom Knight, and the Giddy Goons. Drak Pack, 1980. Drak Pack follows the adventures of 3 young men, Drac Jr., Frankie, and Howler, who are descendants of classic monsters Count Dracula, the Frankenstein monster, and the Wolfman. United as the Drak Pack, they use their superhuman abilities to right the wrongs committed by their infamous ancestors. When trouble arises, the trio transforms into their monstrous alter egos using the Drak Whack, which is basically a gesture that involves striking their right hands together and shouting, "Wacko!" Their trusty amphibious flying car, known as the Drakster, aids them in their crime-fighting endeavors. Their main adversary is the sinister Dr. Dread, leading the evil organization Ogre, or the Organization of Generally Rotten Enterprises. Ogre is made up of characters like Toad, Fly, Mummy Man, and Vampira. For guidance, the Drak Pack turns to Count Dracula himself, fondly referred to as Big D. The Dukes, 1983. The Dukes animated series revs up the adventure as the Duke boys, Bo and Luke, along with their cousin Daisy, embark on a globe-trotting automobile race against the conniving Boss Hogg and bumbling Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane. The high-stakes prize money is their ticket to saving their cherished family farm from Boss Hogg's clutches. This pedal-to-the-metal adventure features a mishmash of wacky schemes and zany antics, concocted by Boss Hogg and his loyal canine companion Flash to thwart the Duke's victory. The first season saw the temporary replacement of Bo and Luke with lookalike cousins Coy and Vance Duke. However, Bo and Luke made a return in Season 2. The series' race-around-the-world concept keeps viewers on their toes, taking the Dukes from Venice to Morocco and beyond in a whirlwind of animated excitement. Ewoks, 1985. Ewoks, part of the Star Wars universe, delves into the adventures of the lovable Ewok characters before the iconic events of the original Star Wars film. Led by the endearing Wicket W. Warwick, these forest-dwelling creatures communicate in English, contrary to their native tongue, Ewokese. The series takes place on the forest moon of Endor and introduces viewers to recurring villains like Morak, the Tulgar Witch, who harbors a personal vendetta against the tribe's shaman, Master Logray. Another thorn in the Ewok side is the Duloks, a rival species with a strained relationship to the Ewoks. Interestingly, the episode titled Battle for the Sunstar, also serving as the series finale, takes an unexpected turn as our Ewok heroes venture aboard an Imperial Star Destroyer. This episode provides a fascinating link to the movie Return of the Jedi, as it explores the Empire's use of Endor as a base for constructing the second Death Star. With its charming characters, intergalactic ties, and whimsical adventures, Ewoks was a delightful spin-off to the Star Wars saga. Fantastic Max, 1988. Fantastic Max revolves around the adventures of Maxwell Young, affectionately known as Fantastic Max. Max, an unusually intelligent and talkative baby, gains his remarkable abilities thanks to his alien doll named FX. Max's insatiable curiosity and bravery often lead him into precarious situations, but his strong sense of friendship and care for others shine through. FX, Max's alien doll, possesses magical powers that enable him to create virtually anything, including whimsical items like a baby bottle-shaped rocket for interstellar travel. FX serves as Max's steadfast best friend and is fond of the catchphrase, "Rocket and roll." And there's AB Sitter, a toy robot brought to life by FX. AB takes on a nanny-like role, diligently attempting to keep Max out of harm's way, though with limited success. Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, 1972 to 1985. The show was brought to life by comedian Bill Cosby, who not only created and produced the show, but also provided voices for various characters, including the titular Fat Albert. The series seamlessly blended entertainment with education, with each episode offering a valuable lesson. The animated show revolved around Fat Albert Robertson, inspired by Cosby's real-life childhood friend, Albert Robertson. Fat Albert serves as the moral compass of the Junkyard Gang, a group of diverse kids who come together in a North Philadelphia junkyard. Despite his weight, Fat Albert is an athletic sports enthusiast, always clad in his trademark red shirt and blue pants. His character embodies civic responsibility and wisdom beyond his years, reflecting Cosby's commitment to promoting integrity and valuable life lessons through this beloved animated series. The Flintstone Comedy Show, 1980. The Flintstone Comedy Show brought a fresh twist to the iconic Stone Age family's adventures. Alongside familiar faces like Fred, Wilma, Barney, and Betty, the series introduced new characters, including the Frankenstones and the Cave Mouse. This animated gem also featured guest appearances from characters like Penny, Wiggy, Moonrock, and Schleprock from previous Flintstones iterations, as well as Al Cap Shmoo and the zany Captain Caveman. The show wasn't just about laughs. It offered a mix of gags, educational segments, games, art lessons, and even a dance of the week. Viewers were in for a delightful treat each week as they joined the Flintstone gang in their comical escapades. The Flintstone Funnies, 1982. In 1982, the series underwent a revamp and aired reruns under the title The Flintstone Funnies, keeping the laughter alive for another generation. It's a classic blend of nostalgia and timeless humor that continues to entertain viewers of all ages. The Flintstone Kids, 1986. The Flintstones Kids offered a delightful twist on the classic Stone Age gang we all know and love. The show, which aired from 1986 to 1987 on ABC, introduced viewers to a younger version of the Flintstones, giving us a glimpse into their pre-adolescent adventures. Fred, Barney, Wilma, Betty, and even Dino struggle with the challenges of growing up, all while dealing with typical tween issues. They're joined by a cast of new friends like Nate Slate, Philo Quartz, and Dreamship Gemstone, making their youthful experiences even more entertaining. Of course, what's a kid's show without a bully? So we have Rocky Rat Rock and his troublesome Bad Rotten bunch, including Tar Pit Tommy, Flab Slab, Janet Granite, and the loyal Stalagbite. Notably, this series ditched the laugh track, but it maintained the timeless charm of the Flintstones. Foofur, 1986. Foofur takes place in Willoughby, where a resourceful bloodhound named Foofur finds refuge in his old family mansion along with a colourful group of friends. Among them are Foofur's spirited niece Rocky, a cat named Fencer, a bulldog couple, Louis and Annabelle, and a cocker-spaniel pair, Hazel and Fritz Carlos. Their peaceful existence is constantly under threat from the relentless Mrs. Amelia Escrow and her chihuahua, Pepe, who are determined to expose Foofur's unconventional living situation. Foofur and his pals ingeniously thwart all of her attempts. We also have pesky rodents, the Rat Brothers, and feline foes like Vinny and his cat pack. Foofur and his friends must also outwit dog catchers Mel and Harvey from the Bowser Busters and contend with the suave Afghan hound Bert, the affections of the lovely Dolly, a basset hound. Fraggle Rock, the animated series. Fraggle Rock, the animated series, faithfully followed the whimsical formula of its live-action predecessor, complete with the beloved theme song, albeit re-recorded by the animated characters' voice actors. Each episode typically featured 2 15-minute stories, occasionally presenting a single 30-minute plot. Just like its puppet counterpart, the animated series continued the tradition of original songs, with at least one catchy tune in each episode. Uncle Traveling Matt, a character from the puppet version, introduced the animated show from Doc's workshop in the bookending segments. The animated adaptation comprised a total of 13 episodes. Super Ted, 1983. Super Ted, the brainchild of Mike Young, was conceived as a comforting bedtime story for his son, aimed at getting rid of the fear of darkness. Under Mother Nature's benevolent gaze, Super Ted gains superpowers. At the drop of a hat, or rather the whisper of his secret word, he morphs into a red-suited superhero, complete with a cape and rocket boots. Alongside his cosmic sidekick Spotty, Super Ted embarks on global and interstellar adventures, battling the villainous cowboy Texas Pete. With his bumbling henchmen Bulk and Skeleton, Pete's ambition oscillates between world domination and amassing wealth. Super Ted is a heartwarming tale of courage and camaraderie, laced with whimsical cosmic dust. It's actually a very beautiful story of how a character from an imagined bedtime story could go on to become a full-fledged animated show that probably later helped hundreds of thousands of children to go to sleep without fear. When it aired in the US, it became the first British animated show to do so. The further adventures of Super Ted. Creator Mike Young, now based in the States, went on to create Fantastic Max in 1988 that followed the misadventures of a spacefaring baby, which I already covered in an earlier entry. This prompted Hanna-Barbera to breathe new life into Super Ted, so Super Ted continued his transatlantic journey in this new show. The American revival adopted a grander narrative, with the return of old foes, Texas Pete, Bulk and Skeleton, now flanked by fresh villains. The show underwent an American makeover, complete with a revamped theme song and a knack for poking fun at American culture. Furthermore, digital ink and paint brought this reimagined Super Ted to vibrant life, cementing its status as a beloved transatlantic classic. G-Force, Guardians of Space. In the midst of the 1980s, the iconic Battle of the Planets faced a gradual decline in its television presence. Once a syndication powerhouse, it found itself relegated to the early morning slots, a telltale sign of impending departure from the airwaves. Even Ted Turner's WTBS joined the fray, giving the show some airtime, albeit with edits to fit time constraints. By 1984, WTBS became the last bastion for Battle of the Planets before bidding it farewell in 1985. This marked the end of an era for the beloved series on US television, and this was when G-Force was born. G-Force, Guardians of Space swooped in with a fresh bird-themed superhero team, ready to combat the menacing Galactor and his technologically advanced terrorist organization. These 5 young heroes vowed to protect Earth at any cost, ensuring the planet's safety in the face of impending peril. G.I. Joe, a real American hero, 1989. In 1989, G.I. Joe returned with a bang in the form of Operation Dragonfire, a 5-part miniseries that marked the revival of the iconic series. After the dramatic events of G.I. Joe the movie, Cobra was in disarray, with key members like Storm Shadow and Zartan heading for the exit. Even Serpentor's bravado couldn't hold things together, which is when Baroness came into the scene. She restored the Cobra Commander to his human form, overthrowing Serpentor and seizing control. With Cobra Commander back in the driver's seat, the nefarious organization renewed its assault on G.I. Joe. This time, G.I. Joe was led by the indomitable Sergeant Slaughter and Hawk. As Cobra Commander's loyal henchmen, Norgahide and Metalhead stepped into the spotlight, while Destro and Baroness assumed a less active role in field operations. The battle raged on, bringing the beloved series roaring back to life. Galaxy High School, 1986. Galaxy High School takes us on another worldly adventure with 2 Earth teenagers, Doyle Cleverlobe and Amy Brightower. When they're accepted into the intergalactic Galaxy High School on the asteroid Flutor, their social status is flipped. Doyle, once popular on Earth, becomes an outcast among the aliens, while Amy, the brilliant but overlooked student, finds acceptance. In this quirky school, they encounter a colourful cast of alien characters like Gilda Gossip, with a mouth for gossiping, and Milo de Venus, the six-armed class president. The show hints at a budding romance between Doyle and Amy, but it's their adventures that take centre stage. From absent-minded students to bizarre teachers like Miss Biddy McBrain with a light bulb on her head, Galaxy High School is a wacky extraterrestrial take on the high school experience. Though it only lasted one season, it left an impression as a unique animated series. Galtar and the Golden Lance, 1985. In Galtar and the Golden Lance, we follow the epic adventures of three companions, namely Galtar, the valiant warrior wielding the Golden Lance, Princess Golita, and her telepathic brother, Zorn. Together, they're on a mission to thwart the malevolent Tormak, a tyrant who's conquered their world and seeks the combined power of the Golden Lance and the Sacred Shield for invincibility. The Golden Lance, a mystical weapon, transforms into dual swords when Galtar raises it high. It's not only a formidable weapon, but also guarded by a protective enchantment known as the Fury of the Golden Lance, which strikes down on worthy wielders. Their journey is a thrilling battle of good versus evil, revenge, and the quest for ultimate power. Sadly, the series concluded before the climactic showdown between Galtar and Tormak, leaving fans in suspense. Ghostbusters, 1986. The show continued the supernatural legacy with a new generation of paranormal investigators. Jake Kong Jr. and Eddie Spencer Jr., alongside their trusty gorilla Tracy, follow in their father's spectral footsteps. Based in the eerie Ghost Command mansion, they're aided by quirky companions like Answerbone, the talking skull phone, and Belfry, a chatty pink bat. Their mission is almost always battling the nefarious ghost wizard Primeval and his ghostly gang who plot world domination. With the help of Ghost Buggy Jr., their talking car, and occasional allies like time-traveling Futura and news reporter Jessica Ray, they venture into the supernatural. This animated series, much like its live-action predecessor, thrives on supernatural showdowns and witty humor. From the haunt quarters to otherworldly adventures, the Ghostbusters teach life lessons wrapped in ghostly encounters. With its catchphrase, "Let's go, Ghostbusters," and famous guest stars like Count Dracula, it's a nostalgic journey for fans of spooky spectacles and life lessons alike. Gilligan's Planet, 1982. Gilligan's Planet takes the beloved castaways from Gilligan's Island on a cosmic adventure. Gilligan's Planet is a spin-off of Gilligan's Island. Here, the professor crafts a spaceship to finally rescue the stranded crew. However, their luck takes a familiar twist when they crash land on an alien world strangely resembling their tropical island. The quirky group, including Gilligan, the skipper, and the rest, must adapt to their new extraterrestrial surroundings. Instead of finding coconut trees and dealing with quirky visitors, they now encounter bizarre alien creatures. To add to the mix, a reptilian sidekick named Bumper joins the castaways on their spacefaring misadventures. Gilligan's Planet keeps the essence of the original series intact while adding a fresh twist with intergalactic escapades. The Glow Friends, 1986. The Glow Friends illuminate the world with their tiny glowing presence in Glowland. These luminescent bugs call Glow Pond home, thanks to the magical moondrops they harvest, which make them shine in the dark. However, their peaceful existence is persistently under threat from the Mulligans, who are led by the cunning Starnose. These mole-like creatures were banished from Moslavia due to their criminal activities, and now they seek revenge by kidnapping the Glow Friends to light their dark tunnels and extract precious gold. Among the Glow Friends, baby Glowworm is the youngest, often found in the company of Glow Granny Bug. She's a curious and giggly character who sometimes finds herself in adventurous situations like getting lost in the treacherous Mulligan's tunnels. Goldie Gold and Action Jack, 1981. Goldie Gold and Action Jack is about the whirlwind experiences of Goldie Gold, a striking teenage heiress who inherits the Gold Street Journal. Alongside her intrepid boyfriend, Action Jack Travis, and trusty Cocker Spaniel Nugget, they go on a series of unpredictable adventures. Their journey is occasionally overseen by Jack's boss, editor Sam Grit. With 13 engaging episodes, this animated series blends romance, mystery, and intrigue, making it quite an interesting watch for all. Good Morning Mickey, 1983. Good Morning Mickey was one of Walt Disney Productions' first animated television shows, marking the inception of the Disney Channel on April 18, 1983. As a pioneering program, it laid the foundation for the channel's original content. The show's early mornings commenced at 7 a.m. Eastern Pacific Time, taking the lead in the Disney Channel's 16, later expanded to 18-hour daily programming schedule. At its core, the series showed a delightful array of Disney animated shorts starring the iconic Mickey Mouse. However, it generously sprinkled appearances by beloved characters like Goofy, Donald Duck, Chip and Dale, Pluto, and much more. Much like a cherished morning ritual, Good Morning Mickey provided viewers with their daily dose of animated Disney magic until it gracefully passed the torch to Mickey's Mouse Tracks in 1992. Gumby. Gumby, the iconic green clay humanoid, entered the world of stop-motion clay animation in 1953, swiftly becoming an American cultural symbol. His legacy includes television series, a movie, and various media adaptations. In 1982, Gumby experienced a revival thanks to an Eddie Murphy parody on Saturday Night Live. Murphy's portrayal depicted Gumby as a demanding, cigar-chomping celebrity who could often be heard saying, "I'm Gumby, damn it," with an exaggerated accent. This resurgence led to the release of the original Gumby shorts on home video in 1987 and an appearance in the Puppetoon movie in 1988. Gumby's return culminated in a new series of 99 7-minute episodes produced in 1988 featuring Dallas McKennon as Gumby. These adventures expanded Gumby's world beyond Toyland, where he formed a musical band with new characters like his sister Minga, a mastodon Denali, and a chicken named Tilly. Herculoids, 1981. Herculoids is a classic animated series set on the planet Amzot, which was later changed to Quasar. It features the Xandor family, including Xandor, Tara, and their son Dorno, who joined forces with their incredible giant pets, the Herculoids. The heroic team includes Zok, the laser-breathing dragon, Tundro, the space-faring rhinoceros, Igu, the rock-strong ape, and the shape-shifting duo Gloop and his son Gleet. Together, they defend their planet against a relentless onslaught of foes, including robots, mad scientists, and mutants. The Herculoids face a diverse array of adversaries, such as the Faceless People, destructive Destroyer Ants, and Raider Apes, among others. Hero High, 1981. Hero High was a unique series that blended cartoons and live action, brought to life by Filmation and aired during NBC's The Kids Superpower Hour with Shazam. The show revolved around a high school where aspiring young superheroes received training in harnessing their powers and combating crime. Originally intended as an addition to Filmation's Archie cartoon lineup, the series underwent a last-minute transformation due to expired rights to the Archie characters. Consequently, entirely new characters were created. Captain Marvel, Mary Marvel, and Isis made special appearances during the Hero High segments, linking the show with Shazam adventures. Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, 1985. Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, produced by DIC Animation City, brought the world of WWF wrestling to animated life in the 80s. The show featured beloved WWF stars, with Hulk Hogan leading a group of heroic wrestlers pitted against a team of villainous heel wrestlers led by Rowdy Roddy Piper. In classic 80s cartoon fashion, the series followed the age-old formula of good guys prevailing over evildoers in zany scenarios. While wrestling served as a backdrop, it mainly acted as a tool to distinguish the heroes from the villains. The animated counterparts of the wrestling legends were voiced by skilled voice actors, since the real wrestlers had packed travel schedules. Despite this, Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling remains a nostalgic treasure for fans of both wrestling and classic 80s cartoons. The Incredible Hulk, 1982. The Incredible Hulk, an animated series that aired in 1982 on NBC, faithfully adapted the Marvel Comics character. Unlike the live-action series, this animated version closely mirrored the comic books in terms of the Hulk's origin, supporting cast, military-based setting, and the incorporation of fantastical elements. In this series, Dr. Bruce Banner grapples with his transformation into the Hulk while striving to find a cure. The Hulk, portrayed as a more articulate character here, battles a variety of monsters and villains, all while evading the persistent efforts of the military to capture him. Notably, the animated series retained Bruce Banner as the Hulk's human identity, aligning with the comics rather than using the David Banner moniker as seen in the live-action adaptation. The Incredible Hulk animated series provided fans with a truer-to-comics experience and a thrilling adventure alongside the Green Goliath. Inhumanoids, 1986. Inhumanoids kicks off with the discovery of a monstrous creature encased in amber. EarthCorps, a government-funded research team, retrieves this find, which inadvertently triggers a series of calamities orchestrated by the corrupt industrialist Blackthorn Shaw. He unleashes a giant vine-like entity named Tendril, and together they unleash Decompose, wreaking havoc in San Francisco. Amidst the chaos, EarthCorps member Liquidator stumbles upon the Redwoods, sentient tree beings who reveal themselves as a part of the ancient race known as Mutors. These creatures had previously sealed the malevolent Inhumanoids beneath the earth. Metlar, their leader, remains imprisoned by the magnetic power of the Mutor duo, Magnacore. As EarthCorps faces adversity, they receive unexpected aid from Sandra Shaw, Blackthorn's sister, who opposes her brother's sinister agenda. The conflict intensifies, leading to a climactic battle, the liberation of Metlar, and a gripping showdown involving powerful suits and mutative touches. It's Punky Brewster. In It's Punky Brewster, the original cast of Punky Brewster lent their voices to bring their characters to animated life. The series introduced a new character, Glomer, a magical leprechaun gopher from Chorndoon who possessed incredible powers, including the ability to instantly transport Punky, her friends Margot, Sherry, Alan, and even her dog Brandon to any location on Earth. Glomer's magical antics often led to amusing mishaps that required his intervention to make things right again. During Season 2, the show featured a mix of fresh episodes and repeats from the first season. Although the show was cancelled in 1987, it made a comeback in reruns since 1988. Jem, 1985. Jem takes us into the glamorous world of Jerrica Benton, the owner of Starlight Music. By harnessing the power of her father's creation, the holographic computer Synergy, Jerrica transforms into her alter ego, the rock sensation Jem, fronting the band The Holograms. With her trusty earrings, Jem projects dazzling holograms that shield her true identity and create spectacular stage performances. The holograms include Kimber Benson, Jerrica's sister, and the band's talented songwriter, along with Aja Leith on guitar and Shauna Elmsford on synth drums, who also share a close bond with the Benson family. When Shauna departs briefly for a fashion career, she makes way for newcomer Raya. The holograms are in on Jem's secret as they're privy to Synergy's existence, and this intriguing mix of music, fashion, and holographic magic forms the heart of this animated series. The Jetsons, 1985. The Jetsons is set in the futuristic utopia of Orbit City, which the Jetson family calls home. This animated classic, set against the backdrop of the Googie architectural style, presents a space-age world filled with innovative technology and whimsical gadgetry. George Jetson, our protagonist, enjoys a leisurely lifestyle with a mere 2 workdays a week, thanks to his boss, the bombastic Cosmo Spacely of Spacely Space Sprockets. Commuting is a breeze in his aerocar with a sleek, transparent bubble top. At home, the family's chores are expertly handled by Rosie, the robot maid, and who can forget Astro, Jetson's family dog. Through the lens of the Jetsons, we explore a world where the mundane is elevated to the extraordinary, often with hilarious consequences. The Karate Kid, 1989. The Karate Kid didn't follow the iconic tournament-centered storyline and became more of an adventure-filled quest. This time, Daniel LaRusso and his wise mentor Mr. Miyagi find themselves on a global mission to recover a mystical shrine of great power that has been wrongfully taken from its resting place in Okinawa. Joined by the resourceful Okinawan girl, Taki Tamurai, they journey to various exotic locations, frequently encountering adversaries along the way. These villains either already possess the shrine or are hell-bent on acquiring it for their nefarious purposes. In true martial arts fashion, Daniel and his companions engage in combat, ultimately defeating their foes. However, the shrine's slippery nature makes things worse. Karate Commandos. Karate Commandos, also known as Chuck Norris Karate Commandos, brings the legendary Chuck Norris into an animated world where he plays a fictionalized version of himself, a government operative leading a team of diverse warriors known as the Karate Commandos. Their mission is to take on the villainous organization Vulture, led by the menacing Claw and his right-hand man, Super Ninja. The action kicks off when Chuck and his team join forces with scientist Dr. Sanford to test experimental underwater breathing technology. But Vulture has other plans, sending their agents to kidnap Dr. Sanford and infiltrate C-Lab, prompting Chuck and his squad to defend their allies. As the series unfolds, the Claw puts a bounty on Chuck Norris, setting the stage for epic showdowns. Whether it's protecting vital computer chips, rescuing comrades, or safeguarding a high-tech laser, the Karate Commandos face off against Vulture's relentless schemes to ensure the safety of the free world. Kid Video, 1987. The story follows a band named Kid Video and their journey into the animated world of the Flip Side. After being kidnapped by the villainous Master Blaster, they find themselves fighting to free the Flip Side's inhabitants and searching for a way back home. The show is a vibrant fusion of animation and live action, mirroring the MTV culture of the era. Each episode features action sequences set to popular songs and showcases the band's musical talents. To outsmart their foes, the heroes use music videos to distract enemies, adding to the show's MTV-inspired vibe. Kid Video captures the spirit of the 80s with breakdancing, skateboarding, and even a dedicated video game episode. Kissyfur, 1986. Kissyfur tells the tale of Gus and his son Kissyfur, two bears who break free from their circus life after a train accident. Their journey leads them to the tranquil swamps of Paddlecap County, where they begin a new life. In this southeastern US setting, they befriend and safeguard the local swamp residents from the not-so-intelligent alligators Floyd and Jolene. Drawing upon their human world experiences, Gus and Kissyfur establish a unique boat tour business. They transport various animals and their goods down the river. This charming series combines adventure and camaraderie, offering a delightful escape into the world of these bears as they find purpose and friendship in their new swampy home. Lady Lovely Locks, 1987. Lady Lovely Locks takes place in the enchanting kingdom of Lovely Locks, ruled by the titular princess herself. Together with her loyal friends and the magical pixie tales, they stand as guardians of their beloved world, defending it against adversaries seeking its downfall. Among the colourful characters are Lady Lovely Locks, Maiden Fairhair, Maiden Curly Crown, and a host of charming pixie tales, as well as allies like Prince Strongheart, Shining Glory, Silky Pup, and Mane, etc. Their villains, led by Duchess Ravenwaves, are almost as bad as the guys can handle. Nothing very nefarious there. The series, although brief, weaves a captivating tale of courage, friendship, and fantastical adventures, all set within a vibrant, imaginative world. Laverne and Shirley, 1981. Laverne and Shirley is a spin-off of the live-action show of the same name and relocates roommates Laverne DeFazio and Shirley Freeney to Camp Fillmore, placing them in the uniform of U.S. Army privates. Amidst the military backdrop, their adventures go wild, often involving their commanding officer, the gruff but amusing Sergeant Squealy. This sergeant constantly threatens to report their antics to his superior, Sergeant Turnbuckle, but that's about it. In the second season, it underwent a transformation, joining forces with Mork and Mindy, which led to the creation of the Mork and Mindy Laverne and Shirley Fonz Hour. Laser Tag Academy, 1986. Laser Tag Academy zaps us into a time-traveling adventure. Jamie Duren, laser tag champion of the distant 3010, leaps back to 1987 to assist her teenage ancestors, Tom and Beth, along with young Nikki. Their mission? To thwart the sinister Drax and Dreer, a notorious 2061 criminal accidentally awakened from suspended animation by Professor Olanga. Draxon's beef with Beth is because she's destined to create the Starlight Gun and Star Sensor, key tools in Jamie's future laser tag triumphs. These devices, in the right hands, can manipulate matter and time itself. Draxon, backed by his genetically enhanced henchman called Skuggs, seeks to erase Beth and change history. With Tom and Beth's parents in the dark, Jamie's foreign exchange student and their classmate Charles Ferguson smell something fishy. The Little Clowns of Happy Town, 1987. In the whimsical world of the Little Clowns of Happy Town, a spirited gang of youthful clowns from Happy Town has a noble mission to spread joy and cultivate positivity in the neighboring city. Led by the charismatic Big Top and backed by a crew of fellow merrymakers, including his little brother Badum Bump, the ever-helpful Hiccup, and a host of other colourful characters, they're on a quest to make the world a happier place. Their companions, the Clownimals, bring more fun and charm, with only Badum Bump ability to decipher their clownish language. But like any good tale, there's a catch. The dastardly, awful B-Bad, alongside his henchman Geek and Whiner, stands in their path, determined to thwart their noble cause. Little Wizards, 1987. Little Wizards, also known as Young Wizards, revolves around Dexter, a crownless prince facing the sinister sorcerer Renvic, who has wrongfully claimed the throne. As Renvic's dark shadow looms large, Dexter's destiny takes a fateful turn. He escapes imprisonment and seeks refuge in the mystical woods, where he meets a kind-hearted magician named Phineas and his companion, the youthful dragon Lulu. But the adventure doesn't stop there. In a magical mishap, Dexter inadvertently breathes life into three fantastical beings, Winkle, Gump, and Boo, each possessing unique powers. These newfound companions embark on a journey teeming with spells, surprises, and the timeless struggle between good and evil. The Littles, 1985. The Littles is based on a novel of the same name by John Peterson. It's a tale of a minuscule family carving out a remarkable life within the walls of human residences. Led by William T. and Wilma Little, along with their children Tom and Lucy, and the wise Uncle Pete, these tiny folk go about their everyday existence with boundless curiosity and a penchant for good deeds toward the larger inhabitants. Their world is rich with quirky relatives, including Cousin Dinky and his clan. The villain of the show is Dr. Eric Hunter, who's determined to uncover the Littles' existence through ingenious contraptions, which almost often leads to an engaging battle of wits. Will science reveal these hidden heroes, or will the Littles' world remain a secret treasure? Lucky Luke, 1984. Lucky Luke brings to life the comic book series by Belgian writer Maurice de Bavere. In this Western odyssey, we follow the adventures of the eponymous hero, a rugged and resourceful cowboy, as he roams the untamed Far West. With his loyal steed Jolly Jumper at his side and the comically inept prison guard dog, Rant and Plan, frequently in tow, Lucky Luke finds himself entangled with a rogues gallery of outlaws, including the infamous Dalton brothers, Billy the Kid, Jesse James, and the witty Phil Deefer. Each episode is filled with wit and charm, serving up a delightful mix of humor and action against the backdrop of the Wild West. Madballs, 1985. Madballs burst onto the scene as a quirky and short-lived fad in the world of collectible toys. These rubber or foam-bouncing balls sported outlandish, grotesque faces and designs that both fascinated and repelled. Divided into two series, each comprising 8 balls, Madballs unleashed a parade of oddities. Among them was Screamin' Mimi, a baseball with a manic tongue, Slobulus, a drooling green creature with an eye hanging out, and Arg, a one-eyed Frankenstein-esque monstrosity adorned with stitches. The lineup also featured Hornhead, a horned cyclops with attitude, Dust Brain, a mummy with rotting teeth, and Oculus Orbis, a bloodshot eyeball that later gained a mouth. These peculiar toys captured a brief, memorable moment in the world of collectibles, but that's about it. McGee and Me, 1989. McGee and Me is about Nicholas Martin, an 11-year-old budding artist and cartoonist from Eastfield, Indiana. His family includes his journalist father David, his mother Elizabeth, who works at a counseling center, his older sister Sarah, and their younger sibling Jamie. The Martins initially move into their grandmother's house in Eastfield, which is where the fun begins. Nicholas's world takes a unique twist with the introduction of his imaginary friend, McGee, an animated cartoon character with a penchant for crazy stunts. McGee serves not only as a companion, but also as a source of guidance and support for Nick. Throughout the series, Nicholas faces a slew of real-world challenges that test his morals and convictions. As he grapples with these trials, he learns valuable life lessons and sometimes must reckon with the consequences of his actions. Mighty Man and Yuck, 1980. Brandon Brewster, the wealthy protagonist of this animated series, takes on a dual role as millionaire Brandon Brewster and his pint-sized superhero alter ego, Mighty Man. Making use of a remarkable device, Brewster shrinks himself to a minuscule size and gains an array of superpowers, including flight and super strength. Alongside his unusual yet loyal partner, Yuck, a dog with a penchant for hiding his face in a miniature doghouse, Mighty Man tackles an assortment of supervillains in an unnamed city. Their crime-fighting adventures are initiated by the city's unnamed mayor, who calls upon the diminutive duo to combat these nefarious foes. Notably, Yuck's gaze has destructive powers, making him a distinctive and unpredictable ally. Mighty Mouse, The New Adventures, 1987. Mighty Mouse, The New Adventures was a very unique show that didn't really follow a set format. Mighty Mouse adopts the alter ego of Mike Mouse, and his world undergoes significant changes. The addition of sidekick Scrappy Mouse, who's privy to Mike's secret identity, and other heroic allies like Bat and Tig the Bug Wonder gave the show the much-needed flavor. Additionally, viewers were introduced to a roster of new adversaries, including P.T. Pate, Big Murray, Madame Marsupial, and the Cow, which was actually a bull. While the classic villain, Oil Can Harry, made sporadic appearances, the show broke away from the formulaic structure of earlier Mighty Mouse tales. Mighty Orbots, 1984. Mighty Orbots was set in the 23rd century, and a coalition of Earth and alien races called the United Planet struggled for galactic peace. Their enforcers, the Galactic Patrol, led by Commander Rondu, maintained order in the cosmos. However, a criminal syndicate named Shadow, under the command of the cyborg computer Lord Umbra, aimed to dominate the galaxy. To counter this threat, inventive genius Rob Simmons, a secret Galactic Patrol member, created 6 unique robots with special powers. These robots had the ability to combine into the uber-powerful Mighty Orbots, a giant robot dedicated to upholding truth, justice, and universal peace. This animated series combined futuristic elements, heroic robots, and cosmic battles, offering viewers an action-packed and imaginative journey through the galaxy. Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley, Fun's Hour, 1982. In the Mork and Mindy segment, a teenaged Mork, voiced by the legendary Robin Williams, is dispatched from planet Ork to Earth on a mission to observe human teenagers. He enrolls in a local school, and in cahoots with Mindy McConnell, they experience the quirks of teenage life. Mork's telepathic reports of his experiences are sent back to Orkan ruler Orson. This animated adventure also has an Orkan pet named Doing. With characters like Eugene, Hamilton, and Principal Carruthers, this segment was a delightful blend of interstellar antics and high school hijinks. As for Laverne and Shirley with the Fonz, it's a continuation of the Laverne and Shirley in the Army storyline. The only twist, the legendary Fonz, voiced by Henry Winkler, and his trusty dog Mr. Cool, voiced by Frank Welker, join as mechanics in the Army camp's motor pool. With Cindy Williams' departure, Lynn Marie Stewart stepped in to voice Shirley. While only 8 episodes were produced, they served up a nostalgic reunion for fans of these characters. The remaining segments of the series were reruns. Though the series didn't venture further, it provided an entertaining crossover of classic TV personalities in animated form. My Little Pony, 1986. In the truly mystical and fantastical realm called Ponyland, the little ponies reside in the idyllic Paradise Estate, enjoying a harmonious existence filled with music and games. However, their mystical land is not without its perils. Amidst the beauty, the little ponies must confront malevolent creatures like witches, trolls, and goblins who harbor dark intentions, posing a constant threat to their peaceful lives. These brave equines find themselves entangled in epic struggles to safeguard their haven from destruction, enslavement, and harm, painting a vivid and adventurous tapestry in Ponyland. The New Adventures of Flash Gordon. The show once again took us on a cosmic journey as Flash and his companions found themselves transported to the planet of Mongo. Here, they're thrust into an epic clash against Ming the Merciless, his audacious daughter Princess Aura, and an army of indomitable metal men. To combat this formidable foe, our valiant heroes unite a remarkable alliance that includes King Thun of the Lion People, Prince Barin of Arborea, and King Voltron, the leader of the Hawkmen. The animated series debut season adheres closely to the traditional Flash Gordon storyline, starting with the launch of a rocket ship from Earth to Mongo. However, their arrival is marred by an attack, causing a crash landing on the alien planet. As their adventures unfold, Flash, Dale Arden, and Dr. Zarkov encounter a vivid cast of characters and monarchs across Mongo, navigating treacherous trials with classic pulp-style flair. This season is replete with daring adventures, near-death situations, and confrontations with Emperor Ming, the quintessential evil overlord. Flash also attracts the attention of many female monarchs, including the adventurous Queen Undina, the kind-hearted Queen Freya, the delusional witch Queen Azura, and the resolute Queen Desira. While violence is tempered, action abounds as Flash wields a ray pistol, ice arrows are unleashed, and ray weapons disintegrate adversaries. Lastly, ship-to-ship battles and hand-to-hand combat further intensify the drama. The New Adventures of Johnny Quest, 1987. In The New Adventures of Johnny Quest, the young and resourceful Johnny Quest goes on more thrilling adventures since his first depiction in the 60s. At just 11 years old, Johnny was struck by tragedy, having lost his mother early in life. Despite his lack of enthusiasm for formal education, he possesses remarkable intelligence, bravery, and athleticism. Johnny's diverse skill set includes judo, scuba diving, and firearm handling. Produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions, this 1986 continuation of the original 1964-65 series follows Johnny, his father Dr. Quest, and their team as they embark on fresh adventures. Together, they confront a rogues gallery of adversaries, including the sinister Dr. Zinn. Along the way, they form an alliance with an ally in the form of the Stone Man known as Hard Rock. The New Adventures of Mighty Mouse and Heckle and Jekyll. The show marked the return of the beloved Mighty Mouse to the small screen. This animated series was the second incarnation of Mighty Mouse, following the original Mighty Mouse Playhouse and preceding Mighty Mouse The New Adventures. The show not only brought back Mighty Mouse, but also introduced two new characters, namely Quackula, a comical vampire duck with a penchant for nighttime antics, and Swifty, the fast-running, bumbling assistant to the classic villain Oil Can Harry. Each hour-long episode was a mix of animated goodness, featuring two Mighty Mouse adventures, two others with the mischievous magpies, Heckle and Jekyll, and a dose of Quackula's humorous attempts to scare his friends. Additionally, the show offered educational segments like Mighty Mouse Environmental Bulletins and Homonyms by Heckle and Jekyll. The New Adventures of the Lone Ranger, 1980. The New Adventures of the Lone Ranger from 1980 took the masked hero into uncharted territories. Echoing the tone of CBS's The Wild Wild West, this animated series blends traditional Western storytelling with a dash of science fiction and steampunk elements, creating a unique and intriguing narrative. The series also introduced other memorable adversaries like the Fly, the Frog People, and the Queen Bee. Despite these fantastical elements, the Lone Ranger's adventures still paid homage to Western traditions, even featuring historical figures like President Ulysses S. Grant and journalist Nellie Bly. The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, 1989. The show brought the beloved A.A. Milne characters into a fresh Americanized setting, while retaining the timeless charm of the 100-Acre Wood. Christopher Robin, Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, Tigger, Kangaroo, Rabbit, Owl, and Gopher carried on with their everyday adventures that held valuable life lessons for young viewers. In this heartwarming and absolutely adorable show, the stories went beyond mere entertainment, addressing themes of honesty, responsibility, friendship, and the line between fantasy and reality. Each episode was a delightful blend of whimsy and meaningful life lessons. The show's success was not limited to its target audience of children. It resonated with parents as well. Many families appreciated the opportunity to watch a show together that entertained, educated, and sparked important conversations about character and values. The New Adventures not only rekindled the magic of Pooh, but also set the stage for a revival of Pooh-related animated content, including television specials and videos. The New Adventures of Zorro, 1981. In The New Adventures of Zorro, Don Diego de la Vega, a privileged young man in Los Angeles, takes on the mantle of the swashbuckling hero Zorro, combat tyranny in secret. His loyal companions include Tempest, his black horse, and Miguel, a skilled swordsman who dons a Zorro-like disguise. The primary antagonist is Captain Ramon, the garrison's leader, determined to capture Zorro. He receives assistance from the bumbling but well-meaning Sergeant Gonzalez, who had previously appeared in the original Zorro story titled The Curse of Capistrano. This animated series offered a fresh take on the Zorro legend, introducing new characters and dynamics, but it stayed true to the spirit of the iconic masked hero's adventures. The New Archies. Archie Andrews made his debut in 1941 and resides in the quaint town of Riverdale. He's the only child of Mary and Fred Andrews, with his dad working in middle management and his mom eventually joining the workforce at a real estate agency. Archie's teenage life is filled with clumsiness and occasional bouts of foolishness. His heart belongs to Veronica Lodge, though he's also quite fond of Betty Cooper, forming the central love triangle that fuels many of the comic storylines. In the new Archie's animated series, Veronica adopts the persona of a typical valley girl, which is in contrast to her earlier southern accent in other adaptations. Also, Delton Doyley is absent from this series and is replaced by Eugene, an African-American character, while Eugene's girlfriend Amani and Archie's dog Red make their debuts in this fresh take on the classic Archie universe. The new Scooby-Doo Mysteries, 1980. The new Scooby-Doo Mysteries ushered in a revival of the classic mystery-solving gang. In Season 1, it cleverly blended the best of both worlds, reuniting Daphne Blake with Shaggy, Scooby-Doo, and the feisty Scrappy-Doo. The gang assumed the guise of teen magazine reporters, all while unraveling eerie supernatural mysteries. Each episode, packed into a half-hour program, delivered 2 bite-sized mysteries. Season 2, under the name The New Scooby-Doo Mysteries, maintained this engaging format. It even welcomed back the long-absent Fred Jones and Velma Dinkley, promising fans a reunion with the original crew. Amidst these mysteries, there was a brief naming hiccup as Fred's last name wavered between Rogers and the familiar Jones. The series even got groovy with a theme song reminiscent of Michael Jackson's Thriller era, complemented by opening credits featuring dancing monsters similar to the iconic zombies from the music video. Pac-Man, 1982. Pac-Man was a unique animated adventure that took the little kids on a spherical journey through the whimsical Pac-Land. We meet Pac-Man, the titular character, joined by his wife, Pepper Pac-Man, who is more famously known as Ms. Pac-Man, and their adorable kid, Pac-Baby. The family also has the company of their loyal companions, Chomp Chomp the dog and Sourpuss the cat. In this peculiar land where everything has a thing for roundness, our heroes face a nearly never-ending battle against their sole adversaries, the ghost monsters named Blinky, Inky, Pinky, Clyde, and Sue. These ghostly foes serve under Mesmeron, driven by an insatiable quest to seize the coveted power pellets. These pellets aren't just snacks. They're the lifeblood of the city, often coming to the rescue in seemingly insurmountable situations. As the series progresses into its second and final season, it introduces us to Super Pac and Pac-Man's teenage cousin, PJ. Paddington Bear, 1989. In Paddington Bear, the iconic bear from Peru finds himself living with the Brown family in London. But the twist in the tale comes in with an American boy named David, cousin to Jonathan and Judy Brown, arrives in London on the same day as Paddington. As we follow Paddington's adventures, we get to know the other characters who inhabit his world, including the ever-capable housekeeper, Mrs. Bird, the wise antique shop owner, Mr. Gruber, and the not-so-pleasant next-door neighbor, Mr. Curry. 13 heartwarming episodes, this series was a part of the fantastic world of Hanna-Barbera in 1989. Pandemonium, 1982. In the rather action-packed series Pandemonium, the fate of the world hangs in the balance as an evil alien named Mondragor seeks to seize the ancient and powerful Pyramid of Power. When his nefarious plan causes the pyramid to shatter into fragments scattered across the globe, a thrilling race begins. 2 courageous siblings, Peter and Peggy Darrow, step into the spotlight. They're joined by an extraordinary trio of talking pandas, Chesty, Timothy, and Algernon, who gain incredible abilities after being irradiated by the pyramid's magic. These pandas can unite to form Papa Panda, a formidable force with supernatural powers. Mondragor possesses mastery over air elements like wind, fire, thunder, and lightning. However, on Earth, his powers are limited except for his mind control abilities. As the battle unfolds, he attempts to manipulate people's minds to aid his quest. The series offers a blend of adventure, magic, and teamwork as the daring team races to collect the scattered pyramid pieces before Mondragor can achieve his sinister goals. Pink Panther and Sons, 1982. In Pink Panther and Sons, the iconic Pink Panther takes on a new role as a father to 2 adventurous sons, Pinky and Panky. Together with their diverse group of friends known as the Rainbow Panthers, including Chatter, Rocco, Murphle, Annie, and Pumpkin, they do things that are seemingly exciting to them, but exhilarating for us. This animated series offers a heartwarming blend of life lessons and fun as the Rainbow Panthers grow up, facing challenges and learning valuable lessons along the way. Their adventures often lead them to confront a mischievous group of lions known as the Howl Angels. Pawpaws, 1985. In Pawpaws, a tribe of Native American bear cubs known as the Pawpaws valiantly defend themselves against the wicked Minos, who are led by the sinister sorcerer Dark Paw. The crux of this animated series revolves around the protection of 3 powerful wooden totems, Totem Bear, Totem Tortoise, and Totem Eagle, which also serve as guardians of the tribe. Princess Pawpaw, armed with the mystic Moonstone pendant, can bring these totems to life when danger looms. Much like other Hanna-Barbera classics, each bear cub's name reflects their unique personality traits, including Laughing Paw, Medicine Paw, and Bumble Paw. Leading the way are the brave duo of Brave Paw and Princess Pawpaw, often embarking on adventures on their magical flying ponies. Wise Paw offers sage advice as the tribal advisor, while the group's loyal mascot, Papooch, adds a touch of charm to their stories. Number 118. The Plastic Man Comedy Adventure Show, The show is about Plastic Man, a reformed crook named Patrick Eel O'Brien who gains the remarkable ability to stretch and shape his body into various forms after a near-fatal encounter with the mob. Alongside his girlfriend Penny and trusty sidekick Hula Hula, Plastic Man embarks on globe-trotting adventures, taking on missions from the Chief to safeguard the world. While facing an array of imaginative foes, including Dr. Dome and Carrot Man from the comics and a host of original villains, Plastic Man maintains his sense of humor, even in the direst situations. The series also includes insightful consumer affairs public service announcements, offering practical advice to viewers. The show's romantic subplot sees Penny initially having a crush on Plastic Man, who, in turn, pines for the Chief. However, in the second series, Plastic Man reciprocates Penny's affections, leading to their marriage and the birth of a son with similar stretchy powers. Potato Head Kids, 1986. In Potato Head Kids, Mr. Potato Head takes on the role of a grown-up mentor to a diverse group of humanoid potato youngsters. These spud-tastic kids go through life's adventures while contending with a rival gang of potato-hating troublemakers led by the menacing Grease. It's a tuberific tale of youthful escapades and potato-powered conflicts. Popples, 1986. Popples brings the popular toy line of the same name to life and stars adorable creatures that resemble teddy bears or rabbits. These lovable Popples have a comical quirk as they tend to stutter when speaking words containing the letter P. The name Popple itself is a reference to the popping sound they make when transforming from a fuzzy ball or pulling objects from their pouches. The series primarily centers around 9 Popples who reside with siblings Billy and Bonnie Wagner. While the Popples often cause chaos, their adventures ultimately lead to positive outcomes. But when the Wagner family's neighbors introduce their own Popples, a delightful mayhem begins. The show cleverly explores the children's attempts to keep their Popples a secret from the adults, even though the truth eventually comes to light. Popeye and Son, 1987. In Popeye and Son, the spinach-loving sailor Popeye is now a married man, with his beloved Olive Oyl as his wife. Together, they have a son named Popeye Jr., who, like his father, gains incredible strength from consuming spinach. However, Jr. doesn't share his dad's enthusiasm for the leafy greens and prefers hamburgers, much like their friend Wimpy. Despite his reluctance, Jr. still munches on spinach whenever trouble arises. Adding to the mix, Popeye's eternal rival Bluto is now a family man too, with a wife named Lizzie and a son named Tank. The show continues the classic rivalry between Popeye and Bluto, extending it to the next generation as their sons also clash in spirited fashion. Popeye and Son is a fresh twist on the timeless Popeye universe with a new dynamic to this beloved cast of characters. Pole Position, 1984. Pole Position revolves around the Darrett family, a skilled team of stunt-driving crime fighters who use their talents to investigate and combat criminal activities, all while operating under the guise of the Pole Position Stunt Show. Takes over the stunt show and encourages the adult children, Tess and Dan, to carry on their parents' legacy. The vehicles they employ are no ordinary cars. They're equipped with a plethora of hidden gadgets, including water skis and hover jets, making them formidable tools for their crime-fighting endeavors. Furthermore, the vehicles are equipped with portable talking computers known as the modules, which feature animated faces displayed on video screens. A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, 1988. A Pup Named Scooby-Doo introduced audiences to a younger, pint-sized version of the beloved Great Dane and his gang of human sleuths. This incarnation, developed by Tom Ruegger, takes viewers on a nostalgic journey back to the early days of Scooby-Doo's mystery-solving adventures. Premiering in 1988 and spanning 3 seasons, the show retains the essence of the original series as our junior detectives tackle various puzzles while also dealing with the challenges of adolescence. What sets this iteration apart is, of course, a youthful Scooby-Doo, which makes the show fresh and absolutely adorable. A Pup Named Scooby-Doo is actually a beautiful chapter in the Scooby-Doo saga, with the legendary Don Messick voicing Scooby until his passing in 1997, marking the end of an era. The Puppy's Further Adventures, 1982. Petey the Puppy began his television journey with a quartet of half-hour specials, airing from 1978 to 1981. Back then, it was given various titles like The Puppy Who Wanted a Boy, The Puppy's Great Adventure, etc. These tales found a special place in viewers' hearts, which earned the Puppy annual rebroadcasts. Petey's popularity soared, prompting ABC to grant him his very own series titled The Puppy's New Adventures, which debuted in September 1982 as part of the Scooby and Scrappy-Doo Puppy Hour blog. The following year brought a new chapter with the Puppy's Further Adventures, which gave Petey and his pals a dedicated half-hour slot. Rainbow Bright, 1984. In Rainbow Bright, a young girl named Wisp embarks on a vibrant quest to bring color to a desolate land. Her companions on this mission are the sprite, Twink, and the talkative horse, Starlight. Along the way, she discovers a mysterious baby holding the key to her quest. With newfound friends and determination, Wisp finds the legendary Color Belt and frees the 7 Color Kids trapped by the sinister King of Shadows. Using the Color Belt, Wisp, now known as Rainbow Bright, vanquishes the King of Shadows, liberates the sprites, and transforms the land into the colorful Rainbow Land. Rainbow Bright, alongside the Color Kids, assumes the responsibility of managing colors across the universe. Each Color Kid oversees a specific hue, aided by personal sprites who extract color crystals from caves. These crystals become star sprinkles, essential for coloring the world. Their mission is often thwarted by antagonists like Murky Dismal and his henchman, Lurky. Occasionally, Earth's boy Brian lends a hand in their adventures. Rambo, The Force of Freedom, 1986. In Rambo, The Force of Freedom, John Rambo, the iconic action hero, leads an elite team known as the Force of Freedom in a worldwide battle against the paramilitary terrorist organization Savage, or specialist administrators of vengeance, anarchy, and global extortion, masterminded by the ruthless General Warhawk. Under the command of Colonel Samuel Sam Troutman, Rambo and his team take on the nefarious forces of Savage in high-stakes missions. When not on assignments, Rambo's compassionate side shines as he cares for animals and imparts survival skills to children. The series unfolds with adrenaline-pumping action and thrilling missions as the Force of Freedom confronts Savage in a relentless pursuit of global peace, making it a must-watch for fans of action-packed adventures. Richie Rich, 1980. Richie Rich's opulence knows no bounds, but it's not without a heart of gold. Richie, the titular character, is a young lad residing in a lavish mansion dripping with affluence. Beneath his wealth, he's a remarkably kind and generous soul, which is why we call him the poor little rich boy. Dressed impeccably, Richie embodies the essence of affluence, sporting a red bow tie, waistcoat, and blue shorts. The animated series introduces a few tweaks to the original comics. Richie appears slightly older, fluctuating between the ages of 10 and 14. His attire shifts to a red sweater adorned with a prominent R and long trousers. Gloria, Richie's friend, also undergoes some age and wardrobe changes, ditching the tartan for a more modern look. Even Dollar, Richie's loyal canine companion, takes on a more whimsical persona with Walter Mitty-esque daydreams. Irona, the robot maid, assumes an expanded role as Richie's personal bodyguard, transforming into various modes to safeguard the young heir. Rickety Rocket. In the distant future, a resourceful group of young African-American detectives, Sunstroke, Splashdown, Cosmo, and Venus, embark on thrilling adventures with their ingenious creation, Rickety Rocket. This sentient, talking rocket serves as their trusty sidekick in the far-out detective agency. Together, they unravel mysteries, facing off against cunning master criminals and enigmatic monsters. RoboCop. RoboCop, the animated series, extends the story of Alex Murphy, the cyborg cop from the original Verhoeven movie. Tasked with safeguarding old Detroit from various threats, RoboCop strives to retain his humanity while serving omni-consumer products and impressing the company's chairman, the Old Man. Dr. McNamara, creator of the ED-260, often hinders RoboCop's efforts and competes for OCP support. The show explores episodes where RoboCop's reputation is tested or tarnished. Within the police force, RoboCop finds an ally in Officer Ann Lewis, who shares both romantic feelings and challenges from prejudiced Lieutenant Roger Hedgecock. The series delves into themes like racism, workplace bias, environmental espionage, terrorism, and geopolitical conflicts. While drawing inspiration from the original film, the animated adaptation introduces numerous changes, including enhanced abilities for RoboCop, advanced technology, and the continued existence of Clarence Bodica, suggesting an alternate continuity. Ring Raiders. Ring Raiders takes us to the brink of war in the year 1998. We find Skull Squadron, an organization bent on world domination through their time-traveling aircraft. These renegade pilots wield incredible power and attract others to join their cause. As the world faces imminent peril, global nations rally to create the Justice-class air carrier, capable of temporal travel. Sent back in time, it becomes the last hope against the Skull Squadron. The Justice Carrier's crew recruits the best pilots from history's epic aerial battles, forging them into Ring Raiders. These elite aviators are identified by their signal rings, enabling them to summon aid in dire moments. The show's pilot episodes introduce us to this high-flying world, brimming with action and intrigue. The catchphrase, "The command is in my hand," is quite recurring, as pilots use their rings to transform their planes for short bursts of enhanced power, at the risk of burning out their nervous systems. Robotics, 1985. Robotics plunges viewers into the otherworldly clash between the peaceful white Scalorius Protectons and the militant black Scalorius Terracors on the alien world of Scalor 5, which is set in a distant future alternate universe. The Protectons, led by the compassionate Argus Power, seek harmony and detest violence. Argus himself undergoes a transformation into a robotics body, facing a profound internal struggle. On the opposing side, we encounter the relentless Terror Corps commander Nemesis, harboring a deep grudge against Argus. His thirst for power and obsession with the CompuCorps drive him to conquer and escape their dying planet. The series deals with themes of identity, morality, and the consequences of technological advancement, all set against the backdrop of an alien world teetering on the brink of catastrophe. Rubik, the Amazing Cube. The show is a romantic, whimsical journey with the Rodriguez children, namely Carlos, Lisa, and Reynaldo, who stumble upon a mysterious, sentient Rubik's Cube, conveniently named Rubik. This animated series unfurls a charming narrative as the children thwart the schemes of an evil magician keen on reclaiming Rubik for nefarious purposes. While battling the malevolent magician, the series offers a slice of everyday life, addressing relatable challenges such as bullies and young love. Rubik's unique ability to scramble himself and his quick solutions add an element of intrigue and suspense, making for engaging storytelling. Rubik becomes a symbol of friendship and resourcefulness, guiding the Rodriguez children through life's trials. With a touch of magic and a lot of heart, Rubik the Amazing Cube combines puzzle solving with life lessons. Rude Dog and the Dweebs. 1989. In the glitzy backdrop of Beverly Hills, Rude Dogs and the Dweebs revolves around Rude Dog, a canine proprietor of an auto shop, and his trusty team, the Dweebs. This crew of colorful characters includes Caboose, the stuttering Dachshund, Winston, the uptight Bulldog, Reggie, the smooth Fox Terrier channeling Jack Nicholson, Barney, the southern accented Great Dane, and Ditzy Kibble, the Chinese crested mix, etc. Rude Dog's world isn't all chrome and grease. He also has a girlfriend named Gloria. However, their automotive adventures are continually hindered by adversaries like the malicious cat Seymour, the relentless dog catcher Herman, and his bumbling Rottweiler sidekick Rot. With an infectious Brooklyn accent, Rude Dog and his eclectic crew strike a balance between running the shop and outsmarting their persistent nemesis. Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs, 1987. In a distant future where humanity has colonized planets across the universe, Saber Rider and the Star Sheriff seek to safeguard new settlers and maintain law and order in the expansive new frontier as Earth's cavalry command rises to the occasion. This military organization boasts a powerful army and fleet of ships, all dedicated to the protection of settlers and planets. At the forefront of Cavalry Command's efforts are the Star Sheriffs, a specialized unit of operatives tasked with investigating threats and crimes that jeopardize the new frontier's security. Their primary antagonists are the enigmatic vapor beings, or Outriders, extraterrestrial invaders who aim to conquer this dimension. Armed with superior technology and massive renegade units, the Outriders pose a significant challenge. In response, Cavalry Command unveils the groundbreaking Ramrod Equalizer Unit, a spaceship capable of transforming into a formidable robot. This innovative creation stands as humanity's beacon of hope against the relentless Outrider onslaught. Saturday Supercade, 1983. Saturday Supercade served up a delightful mix of animated segments. First in line was Frogger, starring the intrepid reporter Frogger, who, alongside friends Shelley Turtle and Fanny Frog, embarked on quirky adventures in search of sensational stories for the Swamp Gazette. With a gruff boss and the occasional run-in with alligators or passing cars, Frogger's escapades were never dull. Next up, we had Donkey Kong on the run from the circus, with Mario and Pauline hot on his heels. Donkey Kong frequently snatched Pauline, leaving Mario to swoop in for the rescue. Plots often revolved around crime, with villains manipulating Donkey Kong into doing their bidding. After truth was revealed, the trio joined forces to thwart the antagonist's plans, followed by the comical chase of Donkey Kong evading Mario and Pauline once more. Sectors, 1985. In Sectors, a planet named Symbion becomes the backdrop for a genetic experiment gone awry. This cosmic mishap unleashes nightmarish transformations, resulting in a world where insects and arachnids grow to colossal sizes, while the inhabitants acquire insectoid traits. Prince Dargon, ruling the tranquil, shining realm of Prosperon, joins forces with his allies to clash with Empress Devora, the ruler of the dark domain of Synax, and her nefarious cohorts. Their battle revolves around securing the Hives, ancient fortresses holding the key to unimaginable power. The twist? Each character forms a telepathic bond with intelligent insect creatures called insectoids, which grants them unique abilities and links their fates, enabling them to share both pleasure and pain. Shirt Tales, 1982. Shirt Tales brought to life a charming group of animated characters, including Tig Tiger in orange, Pammy Panda in pink, Digger Mole in light blue, Rick Raccoon in red, and the ever-cool Bogey Orangutan in green. These creatures inhabited Oak Tree Park, sporting shirts that illuminated with messages reflecting their thoughts. Their days were filled with playful taunting of Mr. Dinkle, the park custodian, and crime-fighting adventures in their hometown of Mid-City. To navigate their adventures, they relied on the versatile Shirt-Tail's supersonic transport, which seamlessly transformed into cars, jets, boats, and even submarines. While their reputation as crime fighters was well known among law enforcement agencies, their true identities as talking animals remained a well-guarded secret. Sky Commanders, 1987. Sky Commanders is a story about heroes battling the villainous General Lucas Plague and his unruly mercenaries, the Raiders, on a newly emerged South Pacific continent. This untamed territory houses a potent but volatile energy source known as Theta 7, which can only be tamed through chilling temperatures of -200 degrees Fahrenheit. Controlling this element means world domination, and the ruthless General Plague yearns for it. General Mike Summit and his elite troops, the Sky Commanders, are the planet's last line of defense against Plague's malevolent ambitions. The battle isn't just against raiders. The treacherous terrain itself, prone to unstable weather and environmental hazards, poses a relentless challenge. Landslides, earthquakes, and whirlpools are routine, making their mission extremely deadly. Travel across this land is feasible only via high-altitude flights or laser cables, which shoot from combat backpacks, forming solid metal lines upon contact. Space Stars, 1981. Space Stars actually had several different segments. In the Space Ghost segments, our cosmic hero battles new foes like the sinister Space Spectre. Space Ghost forms an alliance with the Herculoids, strengthening their friendship and uniting their strengths against villainy. The Herculoids aligned more closely with the likes of Johnny Quest, but I've already spoken about it. Teen Force is about the Black Hole X. The Teen Force trio possesses superhuman abilities, Kid Comet's lightning speed, Moleculad's molecular control, and Elektra's psychic powers. With their loyal Astromite companions, they confront Uglor, ensuring action-packed drama. Lastly, Astro in the Space Mutts featured Astro from the Jetsons. Spider-Woman. In the animated series Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew's origin story takes quite an interesting turn. As a young girl, she endures a fateful spider bite that could have been fatal, but her father, the brilliant Dr. Alex Drew, intervenes with a groundbreaking spider serum. This serum not only saves her life, but also gives her remarkable superhuman abilities. In her adult life, Jessica juggles the role of an editor at Justice magazine, along with two unique colleagues, the boastful yet timid photographer Jeff Hunt and her teenage nephew, Billy. But when danger calls, Jessica dons her secret persona as Spider-Woman. While the animated series shares the core concept of Spider-Woman, it takes creative liberties that set it apart from the original comic book. Characters like Billy, Jeff, and the magazine itself are inventions of the animated adaptation. The show opts for a lighter tone, steering clear of the darker, more sinister elements found in the comic book. Additionally, the source of Jessica's power differs, as the series centers around a spider bite and an experimental serum rather than radiation poisoning. Notably, her superhuman strength, a defining trait in the comics, appears less prominent in the animated rendition. Spiral Zone, 1987. The show is slightly futuristic, set 2 decades ahead in the year 2007, and the brilliant yet twisted scientist Dr. James Bent, now known as Overlord, casts a dark shroud over half of the Earth using deadly zone generators. This gives birth to the eerie Spiral Zone, capturing millions of unfortunate souls who become the lifeless zoners with vacant yellow eyes and ominous red patches on their skin. Overlord transforms these enslaved zoners into his obedient army, with their willpower shattered. From the Chrysler Building in New York City, Overlord controls their every move. Assisting him are the Black Widows, a team immune to the zone's mind-altering effects, thanks to a device known as the Widowmaker. Yet, prolonged exposure to the zone takes its toll on them physically, just like the hapless civilians caught within its grasp. Overlord's grand ambition is world domination, accomplished through the widespread use of zone generators that feed on human energy. To counter this threat, the nations of the world unite, setting aside their differences. Only a select team of 5 soldiers, equipped with specialized suits to shield them from the zone's effects, has a fighting chance. Sport Billy, 1982. In Sport Billy, our young hero hails from the Olympian planet, a celestial twin of Earth bathed in the glow of sporty deities. Armed with his Omni-Sack, a magical bag that morphs into various tools, Billy journeys to our planet with the mission to champion teamwork and sportsmanship. So basically, he's no ordinary Earthling, but a hero from another planet. The cosmic clash begins as Billy faces off against the nefarious Queen Vanda, accompanied by her gnome-like sidekick, Sipe. Vanda's goal is to annihilate sports across the galaxy because she's been driven to madness by the concept of fairness. To aid in his quest, Billy is joined by loyal companions Lily and the talking canine Willy. Star Wars Droids. In the show, the duo R2-D2 and C-3PO embark on a series of thrilling adventures against gangsters, criminals, pirates, and the looming galactic empire. They often find themselves in the service of various new masters, navigating a galaxy fraught with danger. Set in the Star Wars timeline, the series is set 4 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith and 15 years prior to A New Hope. This placement, however, initially poses a continuity puzzle as C-3PO informs Luke Skywalker in A New Hope that his last master was Captain Antilles. To reconcile this, the animated series clarifies that the droids were inadvertently separated from Captain Antilles during its events, resolving the intriguing timeline dilemma. Super Friends, 1980. Super Friends had been around for many years before the 1980 version, but it returned with fresh adventures, uniting the classic core of Aquaman, Batman, Robin, Superman, and Wonder Woman, joined by Zan, Jaina, and their monkey, Gleek. The 1981 episode, Evil from Krypton, brought Superman's iconic Fortress of Solitude to life, sporting a crystalline exterior and omitting the giant key. To further diversify the team, Hanna-Barbera introduced El Dorado in the second season. Hailing from Mexico, El Dorado's debut in Alien Mummy revealed his roots in ancient Aztec ruins in the Mexican wilderness. His inclusion, alongside characters like Black Vulcan, made the show more fun than the previous renditions. The Super Mario Bros. Super Show, 1989. The show brought the iconic Mario Brothers, Mario and Luigi, to life as Italian-American plumbers from Brooklyn. Blended live-action sitcom segments set in Brooklyn, delving into the quirks of running a plumbing business in the late 1980s, with animated adventures set in the Mushroom Kingdom. In the animated segments, Mario and Luigi accidentally found themselves in the Mushroom Kingdom, kickstarting each episode. Guided by Mario's plumber's log, they teamed up with Princess Toadstool and Toad to thwart King Koopa's various sinister schemes, which were often parodies of books, movies, or historical events. Drawing inspiration from NES games like Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 2, these animated tales had familiar characters, settings, and even sound effects. The Superpowers Team, Galactic Guardians, 1985. In the fall of 1985, Hanna-Barbera's Super Friends underwent its final transformation. Renamed the Superpowers Team to align with the Kenner toy line, the Justice League of America returned to their Hall of Justice headquarters in Metropolis. This time, they faced off against foes like Darkseid, Lex Luthor, and Scarecrow. Moreover, the character lineup underwent significant alterations. Fan-favorite heroes like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman were redesigned to resemble their DC Comics counterparts more closely, thanks to Jose Luis Garcia Lopez's style guide. Additionally, Batman received a new voice from Adam West, famed for his portrayal of the Caped Crusader in the 1960s live-action series. Characters like the Wonder Twins made way for Firestorm and Cyborg. Superman, 1988. This was the second animated Superman TV series, and it followed the established characterization of Superman and his world. Superman's origin story remained consistent, with him possessing his powers from infancy, wearing an indestructible cape, and facing off against his arch-nemesis Lex Luthor. However, what set this series apart was the introduction of Marv Wolfman's take on the animated Lex Luthor. Luthor was portrayed as a billionaire who wielded a kryptonite ring to stop the Man of Steel from nabbing him. This portrayal blended elements from Wolfman's recent comic book revamp of the character with Gene Hackman's live-action portrayal. Tiger Sharks, 1987. A team of humans becomes underwater heroes by using a device known as the fish tank to transform between their human and enhanced marine forms. Operating from their high-tech base, the Sark spaceship, which doubles as an underwater vehicle, the Tiger Sharks take on the role of protectors on the water-covered planet of Watero. Watero is inhabited by the fish-like Watarians, and the Tiger Sharks originally arrived there for research purposes. However, destiny takes a different turn as they find themselves defending the planet from the malevolent T-Ray. Trollkins, 1981. Trollkins is set in Trolltown, which is inhabited by the Trollkins, a pint-sized troll community with colourful faces. The series revolves around Blitz and Pixley, accompanied by their faithful pet, Fluky. Mayor Lumpkin, a short-tempered, bumbling leader who specializes in tongue-twisting speech, leads the Trollkins. Sheriff Trollsome, Pixley's father, is a more level-headed counterpart, but equally prone to mishaps, along with his deputies Dottie and Flake. Despite their best efforts, maintaining order in Trolltown proves to be a comical challenge, with a renegade motorcycle gang, the Troll Choppers, adding occasional chaos to the mix. While the citizens of Trolltown may not always see eye to eye, their adventure and misadventures make for a light-hearted and entertaining series. Turbo Teen, 1984. Turbo Teen is an electrifying tale of teenager Brett Matthews, whose life takes an unexpected turn during a stormy night. After a fateful crash into a classified government lab, Brett and his red sports car find themselves at the mercy of a molecular beam created by scientist Dr. Chase for Agent Caldwell. The beam's exposure transforms him in a very strange fashion. Brett can morph into his car form when heated and revert to his human self when chilled. Teaming up with his girlfriend Patty, his trusty friend Alex, and his faithful dog Rusty, they go on a crime-fighting spree and tackle various mysteries. Amidst their adventures, Brett, Caldwell, and Dr. Chase also try to reverse Brett's unique condition. 1985. In Yogi's treasure hunt, Yogi and his crew, handpicked by the suave Top Cat himself, go on thrilling global treasure hunts aboard the SS Jolly Roger. Their quest for riches is far from smooth sailing, as Dick Dastardly and Muttley relentlessly use their underhanded tactics aboard the SS Dirty Tricks. Visionaries. Knights of the Magical Light, 1987. Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light takes place on the planet of Prismos, where an advanced society is thrown into chaos as all technology mysteriously fizzles out. When three suns align to create an electromagnetic pulse, humanity must turn to ancient magic for survival. Eventually, the Visionaries get split into two opposing factions, the noble Spectral Knights and the malevolent Darkling Lords. Their journey begins when aspiring magic wielders are summoned by the wizard Merklin to compete for mystical totems that grant incredible powers. The totems are tailored to each knight's unique attributes and allow them to transform into powerful creatures. Some knights also wield staves, activating their magic with special verses. These staves can be used once before requiring replenishment. Leoric, leader of the Spectral Knights and Prince of New Valorak, bears the Lion Totem and wields a Staff of Wisdom, summoning an owl statue that imparts sage advice. Wildfire, 1986. Wildfire takes us on a magical odyssey filled with princesses, talking horses, and dark sorcery. The tale begins with Princess Sara of Therenia, saved from the clutches of the wicked Lady Diaboline by the mystical horse Wildfire. After her mother, Queen Sorana, tragically passes away, Wildfire transports baby Sara to Montana, where she finds refuge with farmer John Kavanaugh. Fast forward 12 years, and Sara is prepared to face evil head-on. Guided by Wildfire and her enchanted amulet, she returns to Darshan, her true home, to reclaim her kingdom. Alongside her loyal companions, including the sorcerer Alvinar, young Dorin, and his colt Brutus, Sara is determined to thwart her step-aunt, Lady Diaboline. Earthly support comes from John and Sara's Native American friend, Ellen Crow. Lady Diaboline is helped by the Goons. Formerly her personal guards, the Goons undergo a monstrous transformation due to their dealings with the Spectres. Each episode brings new facets of the mystical realm of Darshan, providing viewers with puzzle pieces to decipher the past events that shape the kingdom's present turmoil. It's later revealed that Sara's adoptive father John is in fact her biological father, Prince Cavan, sent to Earth to protect him from the curse inflicted upon Darshan by Lady Diaboline and the Spectres. Only Sara and Wildfire hold the key to John's true identity, a secret concealed even from him. Wolf Rock TV. Wolf Rock TV was, as the name suggests, a rock music TV program featuring the Wolfman as the host. Alongside him were three teenagers, Sarah, Sonny, and Ricardo, who brought the energy to the show while showcasing real live-action music videos. Adding a touch of humor, a parrot named Bopper played the role of the comic relief pet. The show also featured segments like Wolf Rock News and the Rock and Roll Museum, including live-action interviews. The World's Greatest Super Friends, 1980. The show brought a fresh twist to the classic superhero series by drawing inspiration from folklore and timeless fiction stories. One episode, The Lord of Middle-earth, even paid homage to J.R.R. Tolkien's epic The Lord of the Rings, as the Super Friends embarked on a journey to Middle-earth to rescue its inhabitants from an evil wizard. This iteration of the Super Friends also didn't shy away from addressing contemporary politics. In Rub 3 Times for Disaster, the main villain, Karim Azar, bore a striking resemblance to Ayatollah Ruhollah Mousavi Khomeini, the Iranian religious leader of the time. Karim, a ruthless thief on the planet Zagdad, aimed to seize the magic lamp of Olam that housed an evil genie. With the genie's power, he enslaved the planet and banished the Sultan into the genie's lamp. The Super Friends, including Superman and the Wonder Twins, faced off against Karim's forces and ended up trapped in the lamp, while Karim managed to escape, never to be seen again. However, the other heroes came to the rescue. The Wuzzles, 1985. The Wuzzles is a whimsical animated series where characters known as Wuzzles live on the imaginative Isle of Wuz. These charming critters are delightful hybrids of two different animal species, making each Wuzzle a colourful and unique blend. With wings on their backs, some can even take flight. This playful world extends beyond the characters, infusing everything on the island from food to homes with this delightful mixing of species. So, that was all in this video. I hope you really did take a walk down memory lane. You see, we want nothing reminding you of the beautiful memories you had, and for our younger viewers, you may want to check out some of these amazing shows that crafted and molded the childhood of millions around the globe. I didn't mention a few shows which had multiple segments because I covered most segments individually. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks everyone.